All right, welcome back, True Seeker. Having some last second making sure everything's right. I haven't done a stream on StreamYard for a minute. We're doing this one through StreamYard, and that's because we're putting the broadcast on Gematria Effect Sports along with the primary channel, Gematria Effect News 25. Last night at the end of TFR on Gematria Effect News, we closed out the show just talking about the way they script the game of baseball and how you can see through the script if you understand numbers day after day. And for example, again, Major League Baseball, a baseball has 108 double stitches, 108. And in Gematria, Major League, those words have a numerical value of 108. You get that value by just taking the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. Major League, M is the 13th letter of the alphabetic order. A is the first, J is the 10th, O is the 15th, R is the 18th, L is the 12th, so on. Major League adds up to 108. The Cubs broke the 108-year drought over the Indians. The film starring Charlie Sheen, who's he's a Cleveland Indian Major League Baseball pitcher, a wild man on the mound. But Major League 108, Chicago breaks the 108-year drought again over Cleveland. And the film Major League is about Cleveland. And of course, Cleveland's the 216 area code, and 108 times 2 is 216. It's 108 double stitches on the baseball, which is 216 stitches. But anyway, here we are. It's the 10th day of the 8th month. And something I observed this morning was that out of 3 pitchers pitching today, they could become 10 and 8. There's 3 pitchers. There's only 8 games in Major League Baseball today, so that means there's 16 starting pitchers, 1 for each game. Out of the 16 total pitchers, only 3 had an opportunity to become 10 and 8. But at the same time, you got to go, what are the odds of that? I mean, that's actually almost 20% of the pitchers in the league have a chance of becoming 10 and 8 on the date that's 10-8 in this sport that does all these rituals with 108 that we're talking about year after year. Again, the year the Cubs broke the 108-year drought. We had it figured out in the regular season we had it in the spring training. We had it figured out why the Cubs win the World Series. But by the end of the season, we had it figured out why the Cubs would beat the Indians on November 2nd, 11/2 in the 112th World Series, breaking the 108-year drought. And also in Gematria, which means geometry and language, geometry equals 108. And mathematics equals 112. 1 plus 1 is 2. Geometry is a subject in mathematics. In the 112th World Series, the Cubs break the 108-year drought, as we talked about in spring training. But then we really understood the joke of doing it against Cleveland. And you might recall how the MLB and the NBA were so synced up at that time. But okay, 2 of those pitchers were in the 2 earliest games of the day. If the Astros team lost, their pitcher had a chance to become 10 and 8. So the Astros had to lose. And they were the favorite in that game. The Astros were favored on the road at the red-hot Baltimore Orioles. But Astros did lose, so the Orioles actually upset today. And then the Pirates were huge underdogs against the Braves. And the Braves starting pitcher with a loss could become 10 and 8. And the Pirates had a few other things going on today. There's been some real consistent pattern or numbers with the Pirates all year, and we're going to talk more about that because they again prevailed today. But there was a lot going on for the Pirates, who were a big underdog today. And again, those are the juiciest games in this knowledge. When you have a big payout game and a really nice number alignment, especially when it's a number pattern that you've been talking about for a decade, which we have now in this community. We've been talking about 108 in baseball for 10 years now. For 10 years, we've been talking about this. And remember, just the word baseball alone equals 54, like 54 ounce in a game. Major League, 108, like 108 double stitches. What's 108 plus 54 for Major League Baseball? It's 162, like how many games are in a season. We've been teaching this for a decade. So here we are, 10 years since August 2013 when I found this knowledge. And boom, August 10th. It's right back at it. There is one more pitcher today that can become 10 and 8. And the nice thing is, if you put it together a 3-game parlay and all you're waiting for is that last game right now, had you put $10 down on these 3 games, it would have paid well over $100. Would have paid upwards of 150, some books more. But you could have risked $10 to make 150 off the narrative of 3 pitchers who can become 10 and 8. Well, say you did that. Now you're waiting for that last game. Think about it. You only bet $10, right? If that last game comes through, you win 150. So your $10 becomes plus 150. You had 10, now you have 160. So that's your bankroll right now. If you want to make sure you win money, you could say, I want to make sure I win at least $50 today. You still like that other pitcher winning today, but you want to hedge just in case. If you bet to make sure that you win at least 50, you just bet on the other team in the last game of your parlay. That way you make money. The downside of that is, had you just stuck with your initial bet and not hedged, you'd make a bigger sum of money. But again, it's what's that phrase? Wise men hedge their bets. It's not always about being the richest or making the biggest gamble each day. It's making the smartest move each day and making sure you're winning most days a lot more so than you're losing. If you win more days than you lose, you're ultimately winning as you progress. And again, that's the way I've always taught this knowledge, how to use this, the law of averages, the way gambling is with parlays. Again, most gamblers say never do a parlay because it's the easiest way to lose your money. That's true. But if you have a good insight into the scripting and you can take advantage of it a good amount, again, here's the theory. Each day you're looking for storylines like this. And each day your gambling budget is, say, $5. And your goal is on a given day to at least turn 5 into 20. So to do 4 times your money. But some days, go 5 into 100, 5 into 500. People have turned $5 into a few thousand in this community several times. They've hit on some really big parlays, following big patterns in a lot of college basketball games in a day. But again, that's the power of what we're teaching. Be real smart. And since you bet $5 today, you should also find $5 to save out of your budget. Eat $5 less of fast food or junk food or sugary beverages, or $5 less of weed. Save that $5 somewhere else and try to turn that $5 into a multiplier. But the point is, if you're playing with those odds and, you're winning at least 3 days out of 7 on this method, that means you're continually building your bankroll at a good rate. You're only winning 3 out of 7 days a week, but you're only risking $5 each day. And on the days where you hit, you're multiplying your money. So you're always building. Some days you get back. And again, that's the thing too. You can always fill with this knowledge. Like you'll be on fire for 3 weeks. And the 4th week comes around and it's like, okay, day 1, everything's way off. Day 2, it's off again. Day 3, you're like, okay, you're apprehensive. You're like, okay, I might just want to observe today. And then you realize, like, you just keep track and you're like, okay, the date numerology is not hitting in these days for some reason. And then you notice it's back. And then when you see it's back, that's when you get back in. So again, by having a set of knowledge for how the games are rigged and doing this over years, we've seen, and it's funny, it didn't used to be so much this way. It's just, as more people have learned about this as time's gone on, there's been like these periods or stretches where things are like seemingly operating on a different system, but then it falls back in line and you just ride that line until it cools off again. But anyway, this knowledge, you pay attention, you see there's a method to the madness, there's a script to it, which is why the announcers are always saying you couldn't have scripted any better. And part of the reason I'm talking about today is because the thing that always makes me feel the most good about this knowledge, and if I'm ever going to make a bet, is when I write about something in the morning, because I put out the information early in the morning. A lot of baseball games start in the morning because no one's watching the games anyway. They got a lot of games to play, but they make their money on the weekends and the primetime games. But a lot of these again, a lot of these games are early. So if I write about the baseball games early and there's time to think about them, sometimes I'll see a news story that happens and they're putting a number in the news story. And I'll be like, okay, that's exactly the number I was thinking about. So anyway, something I wrote about with the Pirates, and I've been writing all season. This is the last game of the Pirates-Braves series. And that number 41, you see how the Braves got their 41st loss today? Today's date numerology is 41. That number has shown up in so many games this year with the Pirates, more than I've ever seen it in any other season. And early in the year, I developed a theory on why 41 was happening so much with Pirates games this year. And I've been thinking I've been right about that, but today I feel like I'm definitely right about that. And I want to share why that is. And again, why following this knowledge and essentially having theories about why something's happening different this season than last, you might be able to confirm, okay, that is what I thought. So look at this. CNN today. I know CNN on their website, in their broadcast on actual TV. I hate CNN, you guys, but I follow CNN because, like I've said, I've noticed for the last decade of doing this, all the news is coded, but CNN seems to be the most on point with it every day. You can make a strong argument for Fox News right behind them. But CNN started broadcasting about this old skull found today. And okay, when I saw this, it made me look more because, again, skull and bones. For years, I've been teaching about skull and bones, the rig sports leagues, the rituals. Again, American football is credited to Walter Camp, who's a member of Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones is huge in the world of sports. The Russell Trust is behind Skull and Bones. These guys are playing with Russell balls. How many great Russells are there in sports? Think about these things. We were showing what they were doing last year. Remember, don't even get me started on what they did with Bill Russell. But anyway, it's funny too. What I'm going to get to, as I've been finishing this short book on Kobe Bryant, I realized I was light in information about why 60 was so important to the ritual. Because again, Kobe scored 60 in his last game against Utah, who drafted Moses Malone, the first player out of high school, who was a sports star in Philly. Moses Malone dies at age 60, right before Kobe's last season, where again he finishes against Utah, who drafted Moses Malone. Scores 60. He dies at 60. The 1983 NBA Finals, Moses Malone, the MVP. Those finals began 60 days after his birthday. Kobe Bryant turned 5 years old in 83. 5 years old. That matters because there's 5 men on the basketball court. Moses Malone was born in the year 55, 55. But the reason it really matters is because, again, the whole joke with Kobe and Moses Malone is biblical. Moses in the Old Testament, Moses... and by the way, the beginning of the Bible is known as the first 5 books of Moses. That's the Torah that all the Abrahamic religions are in. The 5 books of Moses. Kobe turns 5 in Philly, the biblically named city, again, named after the Church of Philadelphia. The year of Moses Malone's big year, which was the year Kobe Bryant, or not Kobe, but Bear Bryant, the football great coach, died. He died in 83 on January 26th, only for Kobe to die on the anniversary. And somebody called in last night to TFR and pointed out something I never knew. Moses Malone went to a high school called Crimson Wave. And I got to still confirm this, but that's a lot like Crimson Tide with Bear Bryant. Oh, man. Anyway, I'm getting off tangent on the Kobe Bryant thing, but I'm going to come back to why it matters and how it factors in this story and how it sort of answers my question about 60 and why I'm light on 60. I'm thinking about putting this component in the short story. You guys can give me feedback on if that's a good idea. But here, let me bring it together so you can even see what I'm saying. So they're saying they found this old skull, which is proof of evolution. And if you guys don't know about Piltdown Man, it was, speaking of 41, it was an academic fraud that lasted 41 years. And if you guys don't know about Piltdown Man, look it up because it was taught in schools as proof of evolution, the first ever proof. The first ever proof of evolution was eventually admitted to as a fraud after 41 years in science. And part of the sick joke is if you look into Piltdown Man, it taught a racist ideology. It taught that white people were the oldest people on earth, and that's why they were the superior race. And this came out of the UK, which was spreading, British imperialism everywhere, all across the earth. Hello, South Africa and everywhere else. And yeah, if you guys have missed my recent work on the whitewashing, I got it all in the short book. I'm bringing it all together finally in a compact amount of pages through Kobe's death and how much bigger it is than Kobe. But with all the Kobe 60 stuff, look at this. You see how the word skull is 60? You see how the word order is 60? Skull and bones is known as Order 322, right? And they identify by the number 322. And as we've talked about many times, the number 41 is so important to their history because Skull and Bones equals 41. And the 41st president of the United States was a member of Skull and Bones. And his son, George W. Bush, he became president right after Hollywood released the movie The Skulls with Paul Walker, who gets a red Porsche in that movie, only to die in a weird accident in a red Porsche. 5 years to the day of George Herbert Walker Bush, number 41. They died on November 30th, 11 plus 30, 41. But today is 60 days before October 9th. And again, the day of the Skull and Bones ritual with the Braves and the Pirates. And the Pirates Okay, the connection with Skull and Bones and pirates. The Skull and Bones secret society gets their symbolism from how the Knights Templar bury their dead in an ossuary. And the Templars, when they were burned at the stake on Friday the 13th, they fled France and Europe, and a lot of them became pirates. So there's this history of Templars and pirates, and then maritime law, and that this nation founded in the new history book for the new world by the pirate Christopher Columbus, who sailed for the Catholic Church. The U.S. federal government moved from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C., the Roman Catholic Jesuit stronghold of the nation, a long time ago. Again, imagine if you took over a new nation that was trying to escape you and you just controlled it the whole time and tricked everyone into not seeing what was really going on. You know what I mean? You just tricked them with ball games all the time, synced up with the calendar that you invented. You make 108 a super important number because your belief is that your measurement is the diameter of the moon is from the moon to the earth 108 times, and from the earth to the sun's the diameter of 108 suns. Look that stuff up. I mean, they teach that in science books too, but again, all this 108 stuff, it's way bigger than the double stitches on a baseball. It's a number that's in spiritual bead counts and so many other things. And that's why it's so important. That's why you keep seeing the rituals paying tribute to it. That they have us watching these ball games calling, these players gods, stars, the nearest star, the sun, the word sun to describe the Christian offspring of God, and the Catholic Church who gave us that idea, which also began as a sun worshiping cult, the object in the sky. If you write out sun worship in baseball, you'll be amazed at the overlap. That's another interesting thing. It goes with the 162 and the 162 game season, and then that baseball is played from the springtime when the sun's resurrecting to, the winter time when it's heading back towards death. It's a sport played in the sunniest time of the year because it's an outdoor game and it's very dependent on the outdoors. And if you've ever played baseball, it's not fun throwing a baseball or running on bases when it's wet. That's a good. You want to see adults get hurt playing slow pitch softball when it starts to rain and they think they can play a little bit more. Man, they'll blow up on the bases. Baseball does not like water. Anyway, I want to go back and just show you some other things since we're talking about 41. If you're new here, Gematria. Actually, let's talk about all these numbers real quick up here on the screen. Skull and Bones in Gematria. There's 4 base ciphers. You want to know all 4. They're all important. I'll make the point today. Skull and Bones 149. That's the 35th prime number. The 35th prime number. We call it 35 Thursday. 35 is playing really well so far in the early baseball games. We call it 35 Thursday. It plays the best in football by a long shot. Sometimes it plays in other sports. Today it's playing well in baseball. But 149 is the 35th prime. Again, Catholics 35, Skull and Bones, Templars. It all goes back to the Catholic Church, Crusades. But okay, 149 is the 35th prime, 35 days after Bush's birthday, who's connected to MLB history, who was the 43rd president, which we'll get to. But his father was the 41st. Skull and Bones 41. Braves get the 41st loss today. The Braves, the Atlanta Braves, the tomahawk chop, the Native American tradition. Remember, the story of Skull and Bones is that Prescott Bush, the father of the first President Bush, Prescott Bush was a senator. The story is that he stole Geronimo's skull, and we saw, again, the year that we called the Nationals to beat the Astros in Game 7 of the World Series, it was through a ritual that was all synced up with Skull and Bones between the Astros and Rangers earlier in the year and the Nationals and the Cleveland Indians later in the year. And again, it was Dave Martinez's 322nd career game against the Indians, and he got his 49th, or excuse me, he got his 100, no, that's what he stayed on 149 career losses in his 322nd game. If you go back to the game was September 27th, 2019, the year the Nationals won the 115th World Series for Trump, who took office with the 115th Congress. But Skull and Bones, 149, Order 322, Enemy of the State with Will Smith at 1 hour and 49 minutes into the film. Check it out. Watch Enemy of the State with Will Smith. Huge predictive programming for 9/11. At 1 hour and 49 minutes, he looks at his watch and it's 3:22. Again, the 41st president. The 41st president's birthday is June 12th, the day leaving 202 days left in the year, which is the Washington, D.C. area code. Nationals just had a nice upset on the 202nd day of the year. Seattle Mariners The 206 had one on the 206th day of the year. Philadelphia, the 215, had one on the 215th day of the year. Cleveland, one on 216, the 216th day of the year. Numbers assigned to cities, numbers as rituals and games. Sports leagues like the NBA advertising area codes. LA winning the Super Bowl on February 13th in the 213 area code. Back to back. It never happened before. Brady does it in Tampa. Then Brady, with all his history against the Rams do it the next year in LA. Skull and Bones, also 76. George H.W. Bush. His birthday is July 6th, 7-6. Okay, so number 41, one born on 7-6, one born on the day, leaving 202 days left in the year. Plenty of rituals in the past with dead Bushes in 149. I mean, there's a lot of things we've documented over time, but we talk about these same numbers all the time in regards to this. And here, just to show you what happened this year, George W. Bush's birthday is July 6th. So I want to go back to July 6th last year using the ESPN website, calendar up in the right corner. Just scroll back to July 6th. And notice how on this day, the Texas teams, last time we really saw George H.W. Bush in public was out on the Astros, out on the ball field after the Astros beat the Dodgers in the 113th World Series. But notice the Red Sox stayed on 43 losses on July 6th, 7-6, number 43's birthday. Remember, Yale equals 43. Yale is 43. New Haven CT, like how you'd write on an envelope where the Yale campus is 43. And notice how football's 43. Again, American football credited to Walter Camp, who's Yale Skull and Bones. Football's 43, so is Florida. Think about how number 43, Bush, when he became president, it came down to the state where his brother was the 43rd governor, Jeb Bush. And then after he became president, 9/11 happened. And we're back in Iraq where his dad was when he was president. But again, after 9/11, you had the Patriot Act and the emergence of Tom Brady and the Patriots. And Brady, after all those years, at age 43, he goes down to Florida where Bush was on the day of 9/11. Again, the state where it came down to electing him. If you guys don't know what happened, if you were too young or you forget, it was first declared that Al Gore won Florida. And Gore celebrated for a brief period that he was the next president of the United States following Bill Clinton. He was Bill Clinton's vice president. And then Fox News, which was a newer cable news network that was founded by members of the Republican Party, they said, no, this is too close to call. You can't call it for Gore yet. Something's going on in Florida. We got to wait. And then Florida reversed and said, actually, George W. Bush won. And at that time, for the whole month, the news leading up to that was that it was going to come down to Florida, where his brother was the governor. And I was 17 years old. I wasn't old enough to vote. But I just kept saying, what a joke. And then it did come down to Florida, and I was like, oh, my God, what an even bigger joke. And then the Supreme Court intervened in the recount and said, stop the recount. Bush is the president. And then, you had people saying, oh, look at it. It's like his father's Supreme Court justices are in there and Reagan's. And it's like, but yeah, well, I mean, at the same time, I was like, yeah, don't you care, American people? I mean, the Supreme Court just intervened and made it, so now it just has to go down to Bush after it was called for one guy. And this doesn't seem corrupt. His brother's the governor. The last Republican president was his father. I just started calling him King George II. And anyway, the point is these numbers. So coming back on Bush's birthday, number 43, the Red Sox stayed on 43 losses versus the Rangers, which the Bush team used to own and operate. And then the last time we saw the father, who was the 43rd vice president to Reagan before becoming the 41st president, Skull and Bones 41, Yale 43, Skull and Bones at Yale in New Haven, Connecticut, not far from New York City where 9/11 happened when Bush was in office. In Gotham City, which goes back to Batman, and again, in the Batman lore, Batman's grandfather founded Skull and Bones. But anyway, notice the other game against the Astros. Look at what happened to the Mariners. The Mariners became 43-43. Isn't that hilarious? On number 43's birthday versus the other team connected to Bush. And that's where Papa Bush got buried, right? Houston. And just for the record, the Mariners, all the Seattle sports teams love 43. Mariners is 43. Seattle Seahawks is 43. Remember, they won their only Super Bowl with 43 points over Colorado, the 43rd state. And again, Seahawks in reverse is 48. They won Super Bowl 48. and Colorado equals 38, and it's the 38th in order of statehood, and the Seahawks beat Colorado in their 38th season, and then Russell Wilson went to the Broncos last year on March 8th, 3-8, and then he started the year 3-8 against the Panthers, who lost in Super Bowl 38 and on the 38th day of the year to Peyton Manning in Colorado in the 49ers Stadium. And again, the 49ers named after the Gold Rush, and it was the Golden Anniversary Super Bowl, and Gold's 38. And oh, by the way, in October of that season, we laid out why the Broncos would beat the Panthers and repeat history, and Von Miller would be the MVP, and Beyonce, and there'd be some kind of Black Panther tribute, and we were right about all that stuff. And it was all called months before the playoffs began, and even further before the Super Bowl. And again, how many correct calls do we have in all of sports laying out things like this with great accuracy and reason, only to be right? And then morons will come through and be like, well, what about the times you were wrong? Well, that group of being wrong is smaller than right, which means, I mean, how many people in the world are hitting more than half of their predictions? And again, we're consistently proving the way this system works. So when I do open up the phone lines, if you guys want to join in, again, all of these trolls that live in the comments and make videos, come on and debate in person how Gematria is bullshit. That's also part of why that's the title, because people are writing that everywhere. Gematria is bullshit. Explain it to me. Gold 16, Joe Montana number 16, winning Super Bowl 16. You know, remember Joe Montana 54, Super Bowl 54 the other year? Between his two teams, the Chiefs and the Niners, it was the 2019 season. He wore 19 with the Chiefs. They win it. Kobe Bean Bryant dead the weekend before, 54. You guys see that they're putting out the Kobe statue on August 8th, 2024? Date was 60 numerology. And that's what I forgot to say, guys. Kobe Bryant, 41, right? Kobe Bryant, 41. Dead on the Pope's 41st day of his age. Skull and Bones, Knights Templar, serving the Pope. Kobe traveling from Catholic Mass, dead at age 41. Again, on the Pope's 41st day of his age, he retired 41 years after his dad was drafted in the league by Golden State, all the other stuff. Again, there's just so much more to it. He died a span of 41 days from Shaq's birthday, and on and on and on. And Moses Malone. And maybe I forgot to say so earlier, but in Exodus 4:1 in the 5 books of Moses, Exodus 4:1 is where Moses begins to doubt God, only for God to turn his staff into a snake. The Black Mamba, Kobe, LeBron passing Kobe in points scored, scoring the 54th points of the game, mind you. The 54th points of the game to pass Kobe all-time in points scored the day before Kobe dies. Again, Kobe dead right after Darryl Dawkins and Moses Malone. Moses Malone, the first player out of high school drafted by Utah. Darryl Dawkins, the second. Darryl Dawkins dies on the day, leaving 126 days left in the year. Kobe dies on 126, the anniversary of Bear Bryant. Notice how Darryl Dawkins' name in Gematria equals 60. Moses Malone died right after him at age 60. Kobe finishes with 60. I just somehow where it fits in with the skull and bones thing, skull and order 322. The order of operations is by the numbers. And for the record, with regards to Malone, Malone's also 60. Darryl Dawkins and Malone are both 60. And Malone drafted by Utah. When I say Malone drafted by Utah, you think I'm talking about Karl Malone, but I'm talking about Moses Malone. What's Karl Malone equal? 60. There's a sick joke to that, 60. That's what the trolls do. They take clips of videos like this and they only show the next thing I'm going to show. That's what they do. They cut it right here and be like, oh, Zach's a racist. Anyway, the N-word. You think that's part of it? I think that's part of it. By the way, again, watch out, Martin Lawrence. Watch out. He's turning 59 next year. He did the show Martin in Apartment 42 in Detroit on the 42nd parallel where Motown came out in 59. They've moved the 75th Emmys, which are television awards, to Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. They announced that today, moving it to Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday from September 2023 all the way to January 15, 2024. But Martin's going to turn 59 next year. And you know what else I noticed about Martin? Martin's born on the 106th day of the year. Like 106 in Park, like Black 106, like the first black mayor in New York, the 106th, like Obama's A Promised Land book, 106 days after his birthday. What we documented at the Yale campus last year. Last year I wasn't at the Yale campus. We noticed that the black branch of Freemasonry right next to the campus, the building numbers 106 and a million more. How about this movement? Black Lives Matter. You know, how about I Can't Breathe? So anyway, on 43's birthday, the two teams playing against both Texas teams lose, but both 43s get hit in both games, right? And that's what we were looking at that day. We're saying, doesn't that make sense? We're always talking about how the Texas teams are connected to Bush and the Skull and Bones rituals, and now he can do 43. And I just got to show you, we got to rewind back to June 12th now, June 12th of this year, which was Papa Bush's birthday, George H.W. Bush. And notice the Rangers stayed on 41 wins on number 41's birthday. That was the same day that the Nuggets, with the 41st pick of the draft, Nikola Jokic, won the NBA Finals, outscoring Miami by 41 in the series. Won it 4-1. And that's right. I think only the Rangers played on that day. The Astros didn't play. The Braves had a rough day on the Skull and Bones day. Go figure. Skull and Bones who stole Geronimo's skull. So, yeah, again, news and sports. And like I was saying, I was already feeling that 41 thing this morning before the game was, before this news story. But when I saw this news story and CNN was putting this out there today, I was like, okay, they're doing this Skull and Bones thing. This feels right. And that's what I've always taught people, that's always the best sign. When you're seeing numbers in the morning, looking at the sports games ahead, and then you start seeing those numbers in the news and the same stories along the same lines, it's very consistent. I mean, we've been looking at this for a long time now, and all people think this stuff's a coincidence day after day. Again, I can't help you. Here's my challenge to anyone who thinks all this is a coincidence. Again, I put out all this information every single day, early in the morning for the sports games, so you can look it over. And I was just showing how, if you didn't watch the end of TFR last night I just decided to go over what we do in the sports world for people who aren't familiar. And again, yesterday was a very beautiful day. There's been a lot of beautiful days this season. And today gets off to a great start with the 108. But again, I used to put out everything for free. And then in September of 2018, for a lot of reasons, decided to monetize the work a little bit for the first time after doing everything for free for 5 years. And again, it's always been the same price since I started, $5 a month. You get all the sports content. A lot of people have done tremendously well with that knowledge over these years, and they've become very good and proficient in this from looking at it and working with it every day. That's what happens with experience. And you know, that they're here to tell you the same stories as me, that a few years back, there were certain things that just did not miss, where these days, it's not as consistent as it used to be, but it's still consistent enough to consistently win. And anyway, for $5, again, if you guys don't know, if you have a smartphone, we have a social media website where almost everything on the website is free to use. There's even a sports community on there that's decoding each day. If you don't want to support my work, I'll still tell you where you can go, and people are doing Gematria, and you can just work with that community. If you don't want to donate $5 to me, anyway, all this is free. Download the Mighty Networks app. It's on all platforms, Mighty Networks app, and then once you download it, use the search and type in GematriaEffectNews, just like how it is on my website, GematriaEffectNews. There's a group on there, and you'll see on the left side, there's all these different categories for people who are into different topics. But there's one that says Sports Decoding Community, and then there's one that says Zach Sports Decoding Community. That's where I put out my information each day. Of course, I'm Zach. But yeah, each day on that app, if you're signed up, again, it's totally free to use. But if you want the sports section of mine, it's only $5 a month. And every time I post in the morning, you get a notification on your phone, as long as you've checked that box or not unchecked it. And, you know, some days I'll put out a second notification. Like this morning I posted, so 5 hours ago, well, in minutes, probably posted around 7:30 a.m. West Coast time, 10:30 Eastern. I put out the notes for the day for the sports games. And some days, when I see like what I saw today, what they did in the news, I'm like, let me update and add a little bit more to this one game because the upset was already looking good, and now I feel even better about it. And so I gave an update on the Pirates and Braves game. And so anyway, this is how it is. You get the notification, you click the information. Each day I put in a password, and today's password, if you just want to look for yourself, it's just 108 because that's the magic number of the day. And each day we do the same thing because we look at it consistently each day. And that's how we can tell when things are on with the date numerology and when they get off. And that's how we know when to jump off the tracks when, we don't want to give our money back. And then when it gets going again, that's when we know to jump back on. Okay, now the money train's back on. But date numerology, there's different paths. 61, 25, 16 are all passed today, and they're all numbers that break down to 7, which is also a digit you got to look at. And the lesser date numerology is 41, and sometimes that lesser date numerology can be very important, like today's ritual with Skull and Bones and the Braves getting the 41st loss, being this native team against the Pirates, like Skull and Bones. Now it's synced up with Yale turning 322 when they're order 322, but have this magic 41 encoding in their name. So anyhow, always the numbers of the day. And I emphasize, like, when some days things stand out more. Again, today's 10-8, 108. That's one of the most important numbers in the game of scripted baseball. That number is so special, as we've talked about so many times. Again, it's Thursday. Sometimes the gematria of the days of the week or the planet it's associated with, like Thursday's associated with Jupiter. Sometimes those things can matter. In football season, 35 has just been a monster. And I'm waiting until the year that they have to change 35 Thursday. I hope it's not this year, because we love ourselves from Thursday night football. You can just feast on 35 Thursday. And sometimes in other sports days, 35 is a feast too. It's early in the early baseball games. Everything's 35 in the early games. And again, today's 35 days after the Living Bush's birthday with the rituals. So, and I'll always write a note like this. So I said the big numerology number, and the big one's the big one. Today's is 61. The big numerology number has been playing well all week, which is true. On the 58 day, it was perfect. 59, it hit the majority. Yesterday, it hit the majority. And that's what you want to be, in the plus. You know, bad days in our community are right around 50-50, and those are disappointing days. There's not a lot of days where we're sub 50-50. That very rarely happens. There's a lot of days where we're in winning territory, and there's some days where we just smoke, and it's like, you know, there was 12 games that looked good, and all but 2 of them came through, sometimes even better. And those are the days where, you know, I get the tweet about, Zach, I turned $3 into $2,500 today. I'm like, you know, those days happen, but not nearly as much as good winning days where you hit at least 3 out of your 5 bets. So, like I said, the date numerology, the big number's been good. We'll see how 61 does today. 61's the 18th prime number. Baseball has that Gematria 18, like how the MLB extended the bases this year to 18 inches. 61, the 18th prime. Roger Maris was 61 home runs in 61. Aaron Judge sets another Yankees home run record in the time of Judgment Yom Kippur. He passed a Babe Ruth record once upon a time, and last year he passed Maris. Remember, he went on a drought for a while. He just couldn't pass Maris until Yom Kippur came up, and we knew that was going on, so that was a great day for an Aaron Judge prop bet. But anyhow, I have that note, and then I also have the note about there are also a few games today where the record 10-8 can play on 10-8. That is a pattern to follow, because 108 is a very significant to baseball. Major League 108 plus 108 double stitches. And again, some of you might be like, Zach, do you even really have to write that out? But I always write out everything, as much extra time as it takes, because I always know there might be a new person here who needs to know that. Note 2, the potential 10-8 records are with the Astros pitcher losing, the Braves pitcher losing, and the Phillies pitcher winning. So now you know what the third one is that could possibly happen today. The one thing that's different about the Phillies one than the first two is the first two are losing, which have already both hit, and the Phillies can win. And like I said earlier, had you put $10 on those 3 games, that would pay well over $100 today, which is the way I encourage people to bet small and smart and use the knowledge to get, you know, games with decent payouts. You don't have to put a lot of games together, but if you can nail 3 games, turn it into upwards of $100, at least 50. And, you know, things like this come along. That's why if you're patient, that's that story as a child about the tortoise and the hare. The hare was just so confident that they would just streak ahead and win the race for sure. But the tortoise was just like, I'm just going to stay at it every day, doing a little bit each day, and I'm going to finish. And the tortoise wins. So I've always said that's the way to be with this knowledge: consistent, steady, not get greedy. The curse of this community is people come in and they listen to me and they do well and they build up a few months and they can't believe how much more is in their bank account. And then, you know, I'm hearing about it. And then all of a sudden it's bad news, because finally they got that idea of like, man, I've been hitting so well. I'm like 5 hot days. I love this game today. Today, I think I just want to put a whole ton of it on and on that and then try to double my money after what I done last. And then boom, it falls apart. And then they just gave back everything they just earned for the last 3 months. Again, I always tell people, don't do that. Don't do that. Just be the tortoise, keep building. Sometimes that's the downside of this knowledge. You can have, there's days in NFL where I put out like my 8 top picks and 7 out of the 8 hit, but I had this emphasis note at the best. If you could only bet one game today, I think this one's the best. And then that game lost. And then the other 7 that I recommended all won. That, when I used to do my Patreon like that, like I think that was the 2018, 2019 season, that seemed to keep happening. It wouldn't always be 8 games. It might just be 4 games that week, but these 4 games I will like a lot. I think this one's the top game. 3 out of the 4 came through. Guess which one did? The one that I highlighted that I thought was the very safest game. So I stopped doing that. And then, now I just write the notes and I lay out the narratives. And like I explained to people, weighing the scales, following the patterns, using the best things that are consistent throughout history, like 108, especially when it comes up on 10/8. Sometimes you'll see things like it's 108 days from a manager's birthday and he can get his 108th win. Or it could be the same thing for a pitcher. And you just know, you're like, okay, I'm never betting the house, but maybe I'll bet a little bit more on that because I just know. And then you have a smile on your face later that day. But you should never bet the house. And again, you should be the tortoise. If there's ever a day where you're like, okay, I've been doing well with $5 and $10 bets, I just want to try it out with 50 and see how I do. The thing is, though, then you went on 50 and then you want to bet 50 every day and then you get on a bad stretch and you're like, I hate losing $50. Anyway, everybody's different. There's a lot of guys in this community who just bet, oh man, they bet a crazy amount. I'm just like, ugh. Anyway, this is what it looks like each day, though. Each day. So Astros-Orioles game. So, again, the note. Astros can pick up the 25th road loss. The date numerology has been the most consistent thing all year. NBA, MLB. Historically, that's also true. And when Gematria overlaps, that is the best. So the 35 thing was on both sides, but the date numerology was there and the 10-8 thing was there for the Orioles. And that's exactly what happened. And the Braves and Pirates game. In the Braves-Pirates game, you can see that. So a lot of this was written even before I saw the news story. But Braves can pick up 41st loss, 41 date numerology. Braves 41. The number has showed up in a lot of Pirates games this year, which I continue to document. It's been crazy how much it's happened. And Skull and Bones, again, 41. Pirate order. The other number that's been awesome with the Pirates this year is 84. And actually here, I want to go back to this news story about the Skulls with the 84 thing, because I mentioned 84 in here. You see how today, August 10th, the day that this happens, is also, we talked about it being 60 days from Skull and Bones, Order 322, which is at Yale, 60 days from Yale turning 322 years old. It's also 8 weeks and 4 days. And again, I have a wild story last year from being at the Yale campus with 84 that still blows my mind. But notice how Pittsburgh Pirates has this 84, right? The 84 has been smashing with the Pirates this year, 84. And on August 4th, I go back here. Let me look at the box score real quick for August 4th. I can't remember. Did they win 8-4 that day? They've had plenty of 4-1 scores this year and 8-4. But I know that they did win on August 4th. They've been loving this number all year, the Pirates. Pirates beat the Brewers 8-4 on 8-4. I love it's just because all year we're talking about this, right? Pittsburgh Pirates 84, special number, United States of America 84. That we're talking about how all of this stuff leads back to the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church 84. The Jesuit order 84. The word Jesuit alone 84. The founder of the Jesuits dead 84 days before his birthday. The first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis. His birth numerology is 84. December 17th, 1936. 12 plus 17 plus 19 plus 36, 84. Diplomatic relations between the U.S. and Vatican since 84. Big number. LeBron breaking the record set in 84, the year he was born. Everyone sharing it on social media, owned by Mark Zuckerberg, supposedly, born in 84. Anyway, the Braves pitcher could fall to 8-4 for the year. Something looking at. So there's another. So the 41 can play, which has been great for the Pirates this year. The 84 can play. And then knowing about how the skull and bones thing and the reason why they've been probably doing this 41 thing, which has been the theory all year, seeing the skull story on CNN when I turn it on, because I'm always working on crap. I'm decoding sports. I'm trying to write the latest book. I'm decoding the latest news story. It's not like I like the news, but I listen to it to get the information to try and break down what I see happening and how rigged the system is. And again, I feel like I've been proving my point for a decade. So yeah, and if you guys want to go over to Gematria Effect News 25 and just scroll to the end of last night's TFR, like maybe the last 5-10 minutes, I just went over the baseball games and talked baseball and rigging by the code and how recognizing these patterns. It's the next day, it's the same thing. So and always weighing the scales. So, like when I say weigh the scales, to you, what's the better bet? The other side of the scale, the Braves narrative is that the Pirates can fall to 8-9 versus the East, and Atlanta Braves is 89. I mean, and again, in live streams, I explain team narratives usually beat pitcher narratives, but the best is when the team and the pitcher lines up. Like you did have that 10-8 thing going against the Braves pitcher. He could fall to 8-4 for the year and 10-8 for his career. That's how the 8-4 and 10-8 work against him. But yeah, again, I think as long as you have a brain, it's easy to look at information like this each day and make winning decisions. Because I know all year I've been putting this out: basketball, baseball, and I go review it each day, and because I want to look and say, okay, that was playing yesterday, and I know the days where I'm like, bad day, but then I know the days where it's great, and the next thing you know, I'm getting all the text messages, Zach, I did this today, and those are always the best days. But yeah, there's a reason I've also kept this at $5. I want people to have access to this knowledge so they can test it out, see it for themselves. And some people come to the conclusion that it's bullshit. And my theory on that is those people are fucking retards. Because I think that's the only way you can come to that conclusion. Those people are really dumb. There's a lot of really dumb people. You can make the most amazing tool. A moron will saw his leg off with it. He'll blame the tool. It's because he was a fucking moron. But anyway, and that's also why I like to have debates. Sometimes you hear the people that try to call in and criticize, they don't sound very bright, do they? Sound like, the short yellow thing used to pick them up in front of their house. Okay, and other topics and why this knowledge is more important. It's more about than making just money. It's seeing the sickness of what's going on with these leagues, the ritualistic deaths, the rigged outcomes. I want you to think about this story right here. We had the days circled July 14th. Just like how we have August 13th circled, just like how we have September 12th circled, October 11th, November 10th, December 9th. We have all these dates circled. We circled them all at the beginning of the year. Before July 14th, we had June 15th. We had April 6th. Hold on. May 16th, April 17th, March 18th. All of these dates have a pattern in common if you're trying to figure it out and do the math. I'm saying them out loud for a reason to see if you can catch on. That's how you know if your mind's working. If you just always need to wait for somebody to give you the answer, you're not using your brain. You're letting other people put things in your brain that, I don't know. You got to use the brain muscle and think about it. February 19th is the next date. January 20th. All these dates have had something in common. It's a pattern we've been talking about going all the way back to Dick Gregory. We call it the kill date because the numerology on that day aligns with 3 of the 4 ciphers of kill: 44, 64, typically 28, sometimes 17. Those dates will always have those numbers. So this guy dies on that date. Campbell from the NFL, right? He dies on the kill date. Campbell, 64 and 44. But the thing that matters is he dies before this upcoming NFL season that ends in the Raiders Stadium was Super Bowl 58. Now, this year's upcoming Super Bowl in Las Vegas, where the Raiders are now, it was supposed to originally be in New Orleans, the Saints Stadium, but the Saints lost it and Vegas got it. Now, what else is going on with the Saints and the Raiders? Derek Carr. Derek Carr, career Raider quarterback, has gone to the Saints this season. What's interesting about this year's upcoming Super Bowl? It's on the Vatican's birthday. It's on the 95th birthday of the Vatican. The football team in the NFL that has the connection to 95 is Baltimore in Maryland. And this man also has a connection to the state of Maryland. Baltimore 95 in Gematria, the upcoming Super Bowl on the 95th birthday of the Vatican. You can't get more Catholic than saints. Templars were very much Raiders. Always just paying tribute to history with these leagues. But look at this. This guy's birthday was also May 8th, 5-8 to go with Super Bowl 58. As for why dead at age 68, maybe because championship has the Gematria 68 and he's a clue. But yeah, again, I mean, this is the stuff we've been educating about forever, and why why the names that are dead on these days, there's a reason, there's a ritual, there's a sick game to it, a twisted game. And this guy's chosen for a reason, Joe Campbell. Again, May 8th birthday, 5-8. Went to the college Maryland. Remember what happened this year in the NFL draft with the Maryland pick and what we've been talking about with all the dead Ravens connected players, including Ray Lewis's son? But you can see he was also drafted by the Saints and then played his career with the Raiders. You know, Jerry Richardson, who he created the Carolina Panthers, but here, let me pull up the football for Jerry Richardson. He died at age 86 this offseason. Las Vegas is 86. The Reflection is 68, with the other gentleman's dead at. Okay, Jerry Richardson, I want you to see this. He was drafted in 58, right? Jerry Richardson drafted by Baltimore in 58. Remember, Baltimore equals 58. And then he founded the Carolina Panthers. And remember, Huey P. Newton of the Black Panthers, he had the big 58 connection. That's how he predicted that Cam Newton would start in Super Bowl 50 and become the 58th quarterback to start in the Super Bowl because he'd faced Peyton Manning, who'd already been there. Exactly what happened, and why we said number 58, Von Miller, would be the MVP, because it would clearly be a defensive game since Peyton Manning couldn't even throw the ball anymore. Got to rig the script accordingly. But Jerry Richardson died this offseason, drafted in 58 by Baltimore at 86. Just, again, the redundancies, the patterns. And there's been several others. So yeah, that's the other reason that when people come and say Gematria is bullshit, what I feel like they are is ignorant, and then they become accomplices essentially in these really fucked up leagues in the ritual murder. If you're down talking what I'm showing for a decade straight, you're essentially helping ensure that this kind of shit continues. 68, he could have lived a lot longer. You know, if your dad died at 68, you would feel like your dad could have lived a longer life. I want to talk about the big 73 that they got to put on some of the jerseys in the shots. That we call that the sacrifice number. And just the jokes, you guys. Taylor Swift, you know. The other day, it was a headline about her and Kobe Bryant's daughter on August 3rd, 83. Remember, Kobe's death was synced up with the 83-year-old Pope, and Bear Bryant died in 83 on the same day. And Moses Malone, who died right before Kobe, won the 83 finals for Philly and was MVP. And Helicopter Crash equals 83. Like Murder, like the song Murder by Numbers came out in 83. So on 8-3, she was with Kobe's daughter. That was the big national story. And now 6 days later on 8-9, she's in Los Angeles where Kobe died, the city of angels. But on August 9th, 88-9, she's announcing her new album, 1989. You don't think that it's just like sometimes it's way too obvious. But she did this in Los Angeles too, right? And Los Angeles, California is 89. And both LA teams won yesterday. And we liked both LA teams yesterday on 8-9, where Los Angeles Dodgers is also 89. But yeah, she announces on 8-9 in LA at the end of her Eras tour. So now we're going back to this era. Gap jeans were huge. Michael Jackson. Definitely a better time. I mean, hey, we can go back to 1989 if we got to listen to Taylor Swift, man. I don't even understand how people are the megastars that they are anymore. It's just like, is anybody even actually good at anything? Like, LeBron's this big hulky linebacker, but he's not that great at basketball. Thank God for the technology, making it look like he has that sweet three-point shot all day. Remember how he couldn't even shoot it all in high school, and right when he's in the NBA, all of a sudden he's draining from an even greater distance? Like, okay, couldn't make the high school three, but the NBA three is no problem. No wonder the Globetrotters never miss. Go back to that David Blaine, is it Magic or Magnets commercial for the NBA with Baron Davis about a decade before Steph Curry went to Baron Davis's team and showed us how to shoot three-pointers for the first time. And remember how they did it, you guys. Remember how they did it. They had the mass shooting in Connecticut. On December 14th. Then they had the first vaccinated person in the world, Sandy Lindsay, on December 14th. She got a shot, shot. And then Steph Curry passed the Yukon product, Connecticut, Ray Allen, on December 14th, in all-time 3-point shots made, as the mayor of New York City was telling everybody to go out and get their third booster. Get your third shot, all at the same time. And all with the same, literally all with the same number. You got 201 behind Sandy Hook, way behind the pandemic. And then remember when Steph Curry was on the $201 million deal not that long ago? Look it up. Look it up. Oh, God, what was the new, or it wasn't new, but there's a lot of 201s, you guys. You remember how before the vaccine was out, they were telling black people they had to be the first to get vaccinated? Event 201 was the simulation, the Tuskegee experiment with the black men and syphilis. There were 201 men in the control group. Eazy-E dead after Ice Cube's lethal injection, dead 201 days after his birthday. From Kobe's last birthday to the COVID pandemic being declared, the day the NBA had to lock down because of Utah, who Kobe finished his career against. That was 201 days. You know, Kobe buried in Corona del Mar as it was all kicking off. All of this is bullshit. All this is a coincidence when we know what 201 means and why the first Jesuit Pope lives in Suite 201, going back to how Kobe died at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age, where 41 sits with this big secret society, omnipresent America, skull and bones, that has so much influence over so many things that ultimately serves the Pope. Okay. Yeah, anyway, I want to get some thoughts out there. And I actually haven't done a live stream on the sports channel in a while. But yeah, the number to call in, you guys, if you want to call in, you can do that. Or you can click the link. I put it at the beginning of the stream. I'll post it again right now real quick. Hold on. Give me a second here. If you're in the live stream, I'm going to post a link in the live chat. It should show up. It should be highlighted with my account name. You just click that link and it puts you in the backstage. They call it the backstage to get on the show. You click the link and then you can allow your camera if you want. You don't have to have your camera on, and you can allow your mic, and you have to allow your mic. Otherwise, no one will hear you. So it's very simple. It's just clicking buttons. But yeah, is it all a coincidence? So that's a possible standpoint. Or if you know why it's not a coincidence, or if you want to call in and share your story about learning from this knowledge, again, all those things are acceptable. Hold on, I'm missing calls right now. My bad. You guys call right back. Actually, we're gonna have a decent amount of callers, I think. But all right, my eyes are on the phone. And go ahead, caller. Can you turn up your volume? When you guys call in, we got to make sure the phones are loud. Otherwise, nobody will ever hear you.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, just real quick. You want to know how much of a joke this is, too? You know what time the game ended in Pittsburgh today? At 3:22 on the dot, and I know because I was following it. I live in Chicago Central Time. It ended at 2:22 Central, and they were in Pittsburgh. Of course, it ended at 3:22 p.m. How about that?
A lot of times that they'll keep notes like that right in the game if you actually look it up in the box score, and we've seen that plenty of times where they'll report that a World Series game lasted X amount of minutes, and here we were doing a live stream about the game before it happened, talking about that exact number.
Right.
So we've seen all this stuff so many times. For people who are new, I can understand why that stuff's so mind blowing, but it doesn't mean the game was actually that long. They might have just reported it that way. Were you keeping clock? But they'll do that a lot.
I'm saying the game ended exactly at that time, not that's how long it lasted.
Yeah, it ended at 3:22. Yeah. I'll remind people,
Yeah, exactly.
3:22 in the morning. Again, Skull and Bones calls itself Order 322. Right. 3:22 in the morning is the 202nd minute of the day. And again, in Gematria, Skull and Bones equals 202. Like the first Bush was born on the day, leaving 202 days. So good one.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I just want to throw that out there. Just like, yeah, it's crazy. And yeah, when I saw the 41 and the falling 8-4 today, yeah, thank you again for that pick. I appreciate all the work you do. And yeah, it's funny, man. It's ridiculous, man. Thank you.
So, hey, I got a question for you, though. Like when people are always making these comments that like never do that. It's a total fraud. Gematria is total bullshit. How do you feel about people who leave comments like that? Would you say that this works total bullshit, a total fraud?
Oh, I mean, I just like kind of accepted the fact that people just hate on what they can't understand. And like, if you think about it, like it is like kind of scary, bro. Like people are literally sacrificed and killed through sports. Like you see it, like you see this shit. And like, obviously people aren't going to want to accept that right away because like, you got to open your eyes and be like, man, this is really what's going on. What else have I been lied to? And if you got to admit everything's a lie, you got to go down that rabbit hole. People don't want to accept that and it'll freak them out. But you just got to take it for what it is and realize it's reality, man.
Indeed.
It's a tough truth, but that's what it is.
Indeed. Well, I appreciate your call. We got another person on the line, but thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
All
I
right,
just want to say that real quick with the 322, but yeah, appreciate all your work, Zach.
All right. Great observation. Thank you.
Yo, Zach.
What's up, Niall?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing all right.
I sent you an email with a little quick decode I made last night about the Lorenzen no-hitter. I don't know if you covered it at TFR last night. I didn't get to catch the show, but if you check I sent it to your sports and your regular Gematria Effect email. I just added both those emails, so it'll be on one, whatever account you're logged into.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, you should check it out. But yeah, it was an easy decode once I broke it down. Like, it's all right there. Same classic Philly numbers, 239, the 52nd prime, 239 Arch Street, the flag, Philly versus Washington, the two capital cities faced off each other or against each other. And I saw in one of your comments yesterday on one of your videos, somebody said that yesterday was National Vice President's Day, which I didn't know. And then I looked it up and
Gore, Gore was pitching too.
Yeah, and I didn't know that was a thing because that was the day that Nixon stepped down. But it was funny because then I typed in, National Veep Day, like VEEP, equals 65 in the same cipher as Philadelphia, 65. The Nationals picked up their 65th loss last night in that no-hitter, which made the record 50 and 65 American.
And the magic Philadelphia number, right? Isn't it a no-hitter and the magic numbers in the game? Washington Nationals equals the same thing as no-hitter.
Right. Oh, does it really? I didn't even know that.
They both equal 107. Yeah, that's why Seattle gets used in a lot of no-hitters too, because Seattle's also 107. You'll see, like, the teams that are in the no-hitters, that they're like, look through the history of MLB, and you'll start to see there's a certain group of teams that seem to be in a lot more no-hitters than others. And a lot of them have the no-hit. Just like Houston's in a lot of no-hitters, and Houston, Texas equals no-hitter as well. So
yeah, it was funny. And then what else? I saw yesterday Phillies also picked up their 32nd home win against the Washington team. USA 32, America 32. Or is USA 32? Or am I tripping? Or is it America definitely 32. But they stayed on 22 home losses. Lorenzen wears number 22. The last batter in the game was number 22. So it was just a couple things. I don't know if you saw the post or you got a chance to pull it up.
I'm having trouble with my verification. I'm trying to get into my email. It's making me hit all these buttons, and it's like, okay, I just did it. It didn't go in.
If you're on the GematriaEffectNews like community app, I don't know if you have that pulled up on your.
You posted it on the website?
Yeah, it's on my profile on there too, so you can pull it up on there as well.
You're under the name Niall on there?
Yeah, yep, my same name now Overton. But it's on there. I shared it last night. But yeah, it's like a super concise decode. It just shows all the prominent numbers that are that came up in the game. You'll see me.
Oh, for some reason I can't pull up your are you under Niall?
Yeah, it is. You just typed my name incorrectly.
Oh, I see why it wasn't coming up at first. Okay. I had my search too specific. Okay.
Am I coming up? Yeah, there I am. Yeah, it's the last post that I put up. But yeah, 63 and 52, obviously major. And it was funny because last night was like this historical thing. Like the Phillies had a dude from the minor leagues come out. Yeah, scroll down one more after that post. Not that one. That was one I commented on. It's one that I actually posted.
Hold up. Right here.
Yeah, I posted it in his thing. Yeah, it's in the comments too. But I actually posted it on my profile. But I'm watching it on the TV, so there it is. Yeah, you can click on it. It has all the numbers. But yeah, they picked up their 63rd win. It was like a big major league ritual too, because obviously Lorenzen got the no-hitter. The Phillies had a guy come up from the major or minor leagues in his first major league at bat. He hit a home run. And then Nick Castellanos hit his 200th home run of his career in that game too. So it was like this big major league everything, you know, first major league homer, first you know, no hitter in your first home debut, hitting 200. So all these major league milestones. I just thought that was all really interesting. But yeah, clearly the numbers right there. Stayed on 52 losses. His name is 239, 52nd prime. You know how big 52 was in Philly a few years ago, 239. So that's like, you know, it's just the same patterns. But just wanted to, since you were talking about baseball, I wanted to pop in and share that.
Yeah, it's a great observation, and the Nationals record seems symbolic because they're on 50 wins and 65 losses, and Washington has the Gematria 50, and Philadelphia 65, and the transferring of the nation's capitals. We should actually look back at that to be the nation because these dates were probably interesting back then. But yeah, great work now.
Yeah, no problem. Yep. Just wanted to share that. Not going. I'm sure there's other callers, but yeah, just wanted to pop in real quick and share that.
All right. Yeah, there have been other callers. All right, here, let's take another one. Thanks, Niall.
Yep. Have a good one.
Yeah. Hey, hold on. I'm turning up the volume. What's up?
Not much, man. Just wanted to, an example of today. It was National Dean Day, and the pitcher for the Orioles, his name is Dean, and he won today. And I also see something they do with the pitcher, their birthday.
National Dean Day, man. Yeah, I don't know why Sundays I forget to look up what the national days are because they are very helpful. National Dean Day. How about that?
I've seen it fail a few times, like Colorado Day, but it's like an 80% clip. Houston Day they win. It's always something good to look at. But also the pitchers, their birthday. So if a guy's born like 7/1 today, January 7th, they got their 71st win.
Okay.
So it's not perfect, but just something been looking at with that. And then one example I always got to bring up to you is again in that final game when the Lakers won the title, they'll do it with the minutes they play. LeBron played 41 minutes, 13 seconds. And I actually just found this out today. In the closeout, he played 47 minutes, 56 seconds. Like it was their 47th NBA season and their 56th overall.
Yeah.
So, they'll do that show all the time. But yeah, that's all I had.
All right. Yeah, great observation. And I got it up on the screen. There it is. Dean Kramer with the win today on National Dean Day. And Google's even got the orange background, which reminds me of the Orioles. Funny.
Yep. And I like looking at that next game. So I think they play Seattle next, right? And they stay under 44. That's usually something like you call that amazing with the athletics game. And I think they maybe have a preference with that 82 just because that's a sports number, game 82 and all that. But
yeah, he's talking about yesterday's game. Yesterday, a great upset yesterday for us in the MLB. It was a beautiful day yesterday. Was the Athletics over the Rangers because they had two. Well, they really had more than two reasons, but they had two great reasons to win, and they were staying on 82 losses. Rangers equals 82, and they play the Washington Nationals next. Again, for the people out here. You just heard me say Washington Nationals equals 107, like no hitter, like the pitcher's name, which is true. But forwards, it's 82, and both numbers play with the team. And we've been observing this for years. So the Athletics beat the Rangers 82, staying on 82 losses, and now they play the Washington Nationals next. So they'll go into the Nationals game with 82 losses, which is something that happens a lot. So often when a team can be on a number, win or loss, that connects with the next opponent, they'll finish that series and go into the next series with that number. It happens a lot.
Yeah, man. So, anyone saying it's BS, it's like, I don't know. It's like casting pearls before a swine. It's like if you were to put a bunch of, nice stuff in front of a pig, it wouldn't know. It just start eating it. So
exactly. That's exactly right. And I think that's kind of where George Orwell got the idea of Animal Farm from, just like, the barnyard animals fighting. It's kind of like looking at the American people. Look at them all. Look at what they'll do for slop. Yeah. They'll do anything for slop. They'll tear you down trying to get you free from the pin. These stupid motherfuckers. We're going to have the best bacon.
Yeah, who's one of the biggest voices in rig sports, Cowherd.
Yeah.
His voice just his name, he's got the 113 in it, but yeah, that's all I had for you. Thanks for taking my call, Zach.
Colin Cowherd. All right. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
All right, take care. Okay, again, if you guys do want to call in, we don't have many people trying to connect in, but if you want to call in, it's 509-560-4982. We got a caller, or you can click the link to join the stream if the mods can help out with that. 469.
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, how's it going? So yeah, I've watched your channel for a while. I found it back in 2019, and then I started reading your books, the numbers games and letters and numbers and stuff. And I live in Texas, so shit is always happening. Like with sports, Marion Barber died. He was 38. Best number is 38 and stuff like that. I just wanted to, give my testimony and everything because I was skeptical at first. I mean, when you don't know something and somebody brings up something that this big and it pretty much shatters your whole world, like it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to, share my piece in case any people are, discrediting your work or anything like that. Either they haven't taken the time to actually read your books and do their own research and actually pay attention. Because, like, I grew up watching the news. My mom had ABC and NBC playing all the time. And I'm like, damn, they have nothing but sad stories. And then getting older and falling down my own rabbit holes, especially during the pandemic, because I'm 21 and everything is pretty much coming to a standstill. That didn't really make sense. But yeah, when I found your work, like everything started making sense. And I just found it so crazy because I actually went to jail on July 1st and spent the 4th of July in jail. And it was pretty, it was ironic that, July 4th is the day of freedom, yet I'm in jail. And I get out on July 5th. And the first thing I see is that there was a shooting in Fort Worth and 8 people were injured, 3 people died. I'm like, damn, that's so wild how all this stuff connects. But yeah, Zach, I just wanted to, give you your piece because I've been trying to tell my people about it and, pound the pavement and shit, but it just doesn't go through. What's that word where it's like people hear the truth, but they don't I don't know what the word is.
Cognitive dissonance.
Yes, exactly. I don't know what it is with people. It's, a distraction, all these distractions and stuff like that. But I did want to ask, because you're on YouTube, are you on Instagram or TikTok or anything?
I do have an Instagram and I hardly ever use it, and I haven't used TikTok for probably over 2 years, but I need to get back on there too. I have to get better about using other platforms.
Yeah, man, because I really think you could blow up on TikTok because I'll just be scrolling through stuff and I even searched Gematria and there's not enough content about it. I mean, shit, if I gotta get on there and do it, I can definitely do that. But I think coming from you with your years of knowledge, I honestly think you could really go far on those what's it called, platforms, because TikTok is for those short bursts of content. You can fit the videos that you put in, like the blog posts and stuff that you post on your website, fit that into a quick 20-second video and really get some exposure. But that's all I wanted to say, Zach. Keep doing you. Don't let any of this shit get you down or whatever, because if they're not going to get it now, they're definitely going to have to wake up soon.
Well, I really appreciate your call and feedback, and stay out of jail. It's not a fun place. So
no, no, definitely not. All right, thank you.
All right, yeah, take care. A good way to stay out of jail is to really also make sure you know your rights, especially when communicating with police. Language is so important when it comes to the police. The time I went to jail, it's because I should have just used my right to remain silent. Had I not said anything, I wouldn't have been arrested. And I shouldn't have been arrested. It was bullshit. I was being honest, and I thought there was no way I'd get arrested. But anyway, the right to remain silent is one you want to know about. 717, what's up?
What's up, Zach? How you doing?
Doing all right.
I wanted to ask you if you had anything for the preseason games, because it was funny. The Hall of Fame day, the day of the Hall of Fame game, the NFL game, it was 54 date numerology. I remember it, and
the Hall of Fame game, man. Come on, 8-3. Cleveland Browns 83. The Cleveland Browns win on 8-3. Come on, football 83.
And the first.
Hold on. Did you realize that before I just said it?
No, I did not.
You guys got to be realizing these things. These things are so simple. They're so right in your face. We talked about them 1,000 times. See, I had a feeling. Don't take this the wrong way. I had a feeling you're going to answer no, because I noticed that you call in and you're asking for me to cover something else. Like Itachi, who just called in. I know he's just taking the knowledge and he's decoding himself. And again, I can do the preseason games. We've seen that there is something to the way they do the preseason games. But use the knowledge.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the reason why I didn't really look into the game because as soon as I seen the over and under set at 33.5 and the date numerology was 34, I just automatically threw my money on the over and which cashed for me. But it was funny that the date numerology was also 54 that day, and the first point was the 54-yard field goal. So I just found that funny. And Jets equals 54 is also. I looked into it, but I didn't really decode too much because I liked the over when I bet. So I just automatically took that bet. It was 33.5. And today,
Cleveland,
Thursday,
33.
You said 35. You said 35 works a lot in Thursdays, which both games today have a 35. We have a 3.5 spread in one of the games, and then the over and under is at exactly 35 for one of the games.
All right, I gotta see if these websites are still tracking the preseason stats. If they are, the preseason, it's amazing how the preseason records can line up in the NFL outcomes.
So and with the baseball games, with the Phillies Nationals game today, I seen someone comment. They said something about the Nationals could pick up the 215th all-time win or something against the Phillies and stay on 65 losses. It's hard to go with the Aaron Nola. The 10-8 thing worked two out of three so far, but like with Nationals on 65 losses.
Well, like I said, if you put in a parlay for those 3 10-8s, you've already hit on 2 and you're already in the money. Now you hedge on the other side. I mean, that's the smart way to play that. So,
and you have a cash out by now for sure. Because right. Phillies is like a minus 250 right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just seeing did you have any of the codes on the preseason games today? I did look into it. I couldn't really find.
I didn't even think about the preseason games today. I just put them up. I see it's Texans at Patriots and Vikings at Seahawks.
Yeah. And I just thought the Vikings would be the fact that they're the first technically the first preseason game. A lot of people in the comments were saying stuff about the Vikings in the Super Bowl this year. So I was just wondering if you.
I always talk about how the Vikings and the Seahawks and the Packers have like some kind of backdoor relationship. I find it interesting their first preseason games versus the Vikings. I'll have to look more into it.
What do you think about the Steelers?
Huh?
This year?
The Steelers?
Yeah, do you have anything you think anything about?
Have you been paying attention to anything I've been putting out about football? I think you should know what team I think in the AFC. So
the Chiefs.
No, bad guess. I've been very consistently putting out a ton of content on what's going on in the AFC. So.
Oh, you're talking about the Ravens, huh?
Sign up for the Patreon, man, or follow the work. All right, I'm gonna let somebody else on. I can just tell he's calling and asking for things right away. He doesn't. I mean, how many times have I talked about the Ravens in the last 5-6 months? I mean, ridiculous. All right, what's up, 347?
Yeah, yo, Zach. I was in the chat and I've been getting kind of hammered in the chat because I kind of typed and I said that I started watching your content like a month ago and I've been seeing like all your stuff and it just seems like a coincidence. Like it just seems like a lot of bullshit.
What does?
Gematria itself, like.
Okay, explain yourself.
Numbers,
okay, explain yourself.
Numbers to say that because these numbers mean this team wins this.
Here, all right, here. Let me ask you a question. How many sports futures, college and pro, have you nailed in the last decade?
Say that again.
How many futures have you called from the start of the season? Pro sports, college sports in the last decade. How many can you count it on your hands? Do you have any? Is it 0? How many futures have you called? Both teams. Game it would end in.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
Is the answer 0?
Yeah, 0.
0. Okay, so I've done it a bunch of times and proven it. A bunch of times. Very specific calls. How many points LeBron's going to score on certain nights only to be dead on. Why LeBron's going to win the finals on the real King James's birthday. Here, does this sound like a coincidence to you? Kobe Bryant dies at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age traveling from Catholic Mass. They report right away that it departed at 9:06 and the 911 call was made at 9:47, 41 minutes later.
Yeah,
hold on. I'm not even done yet, moron. Listen to you. You say you don't understand. You can't even fucking listen. Let me finish the question. Again, you guys, I'm making an example. Fucking morons don't get Gematria. This guy can't even listen. He's already ready to talk. I'm not even done. In Gematria, Kobe Bryant equals 41. So does the name of his pilot, only for LeBron to go on and win the finals exactly 41 weeks after his birthday on Father-Daughter Day, when we've been talking about LeBron and 41 since he won on the King James's birthday when King equals 41. So 5 years of rituals documenting it, same number over and over, talking about the whole time. And that happens, not to mention I already put out a book in 2017 about Kobe Bryant in 41, 3 years before he died. And then a guy like you's coming here in 2023 and going like, oh no. So how does all that sound like a coincidence?
You say you've done this work for 10 years, but what
I just asked you a fucking question, moron. Hey, moron, I just asked you a question and you're asking me something different. Adios, fucking loser. You guys, I am just fed up with fucking retards. Did you see how he started to respond with a different question? That's either a troll or a fucking moron, but it's also a lot of people like that in America. This nation is full of such dumb fucking people. Hey, moron, 9/11. In 1968, that was made the National Emergency Dialing Code. World Trade Center construction began. Boeing debuted their jumbo jetliners. George Bush graduated from Skull and Bones, a secret society. All this shit in 68, and this all happens in 2001. A fucking retard would be like, yeah, I think that's all a coincidence. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Sound like a conspiracy theorist. It's like, God, you must have a fucking zero fucking IQ. God. And a moron. It's like, okay, why are you calling in about a sports gambling show and you don't even know what a future is? God, people are fucking losers. You guys don't know how frustrating it is to grow up in a world of morons and be 40 years old and you've known it since you were 7. What's up, 206? Hello? Okay. If you guys want to call in again, 509-560-4982, or you can hit the link. But God, dumb people, man. I have a short fuse for dumb people. And if anyone sympathized with that last caller that I just hung up on, again, you guys must all ride on the short bus together. I can't stand people like that. Okay. I wish we didn't always get the same callers over and over. You're not exactly who I want to talk to. I'm just going to be honest, because, again, I want to hear some different voices. If it's the same 3 people that only call in, it starts to feel like only 3 people follow Gematria. But what's up?
Yeah, just Bill Belichick can get his 51st preseason win tonight, and Houston Texans
is 51. Yeah, that's true. Didn't they host Super Bowl 51, the Houston Texans, and then Minnesota hosted Super Bowl 52? Yeah, that's right. Again, for the impaired, Houston Texans 51 host Super Bowl 51, Minnesota 52. This shit goes on every year. Super Bowl 53 was won by the Patriots 53 over Los Angeles, and the Mega 53 ritual as the Boston Red Sox won the World Series, all synced up. 99 days earlier, it was the 99th NFL season, blah, blah, blah. But okay, that's a good observation. So Patriots can get 51st preseason win. What source are you using for the preseason records?
Walter Football.
Okay.
And Yahoo has a article out from today, also with the same record as Walter Football. And notice it'll be his 89th preseason game, 89th to 24th prime. Rome is 51-24, and we're on a Catholic Thursday. And Thursday equals 116. It's 116 days after Belichick's birthday. And the 3.5 spread that a caller earlier mentioned for the 35. And Thursday is named after Jupiter, and New England has the 99 connection, like Jupiter's 99. So,
but I was just going to say, when Bill Belichick won the Super Bowl in the Texans Stadium, Super Bowl 51, that's the one where Russell Wilson forgot to hand off. That was the 97th NFL season, and Bill Belichick's 97. Just the way all this shit lines up year after year. And again, these are all things we saw long before they happened. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Just what are the odds like that it would be 116 days after Belichick's birthday? Thursday's 116. And I seen the 51, so I mean that seems pretty good. But it is preseason, so it could be kind of weird. But
it is there, though. Yeah, so it's not the team record, but it's the coach's record. Bill Belichick could potentially get his 51st win over a team that's somewhat symbolic because he won Super Bowl 51 in their stadium. If that game was in Houston, I'd be more worried about the 39th loss just because NRG has all those 39 rituals, but 51 still is seemingly the more significant number that ties to his legacy. So good observation.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for taking my call, Zach. Peace.
They got the over-under at 37, which is a Patriots number 2. 585.
Hey, Zach, how's it going? It's Michael.
Yeah, what's up, Mike?
Oh, not much. I was calling in because I didn't know if you've seen that they're talking about reviewing the Kobe statue next year, I think, on his birthday.
On 8/8/24, yeah, 54 months after his death, when Kobe Bean Bryant's 54, who died the weekend before Super Bowl 54. And then they announced it on the day leaving 144 days left in the year when Jesuit order is 144 and 54. Coming back to what we've said all along, that the Jesuits are behind whatever really happened to Kobe Bryant.
Right. I was wondering, are you still going there? Are you still going to LA there or no?
I've been talking about on GematriaEffectNews 25. I'm finishing the short Kobe Bryant book. We'll do the first reading of it on Kobe Bryant Day, and then probably going to wait because Kobe Bryant Day is on a Thursday in the middle of the week, and weekday turnouts aren't usually good for these events. So I think we'll wait till the start of the season, a big game, big televised game. And but I said we should also definitely be there on the day again that they unveil the statue. That's still a year away, August 8th, 2024.
Right. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to know, I didn't know.
For people who don't know, we were down all throughout California talking about Kobe Bryant's death, including at the Staples Center for a number of days back in April when the playoffs were going on. So.
Right. I was actually thinking about if you guys are still doing it, I was thinking about heading out there. I got the money and stuff, so I didn't know. Like, I just wanted to make sure, what day you're going or whatever, and just kind of keep us posted,
All right. Appreciate it, Michael.
All right, Zach.
All right, later, man. 469.
Yo, Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
This is KT Ramen Dallas. So I've been watching you for a while. Always use you with sports betting. I don't know who's calling earlier. I've won money just listening to some of your live streams, right? So for me personally, I'm trying to figure out, like, you know how you did the whole thing with Belichick with I forgot what you said with the Super Bowl with Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. But what if, like, my thing is, how do you find someone, like, what if there's someone else with another name, like on a random, like a different team? Like, how do you know the name and the numbers behind which individuals? You know what I'm saying?
No, you got to be more specific.
Like, are you going off of headlines? Are you going off of, articles? Like, how are you finding the names to use for Gematria?
Like, why even know to look at Bill Belichick 97 in the 97th NFL season? Like that type of thing?
Yeah. So, like, what if, like, during that season, what if someone else, like a lineman with the Saints or something, had a name with the 97?
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen. So you got to end up picking out what the better narrative is.
Name off of, like, headlines and stuff like that.
So you got to. Okay, let's just say another coach had a 97 too. If you were following me that season, my future was actually wrong that year for the NFL at the start of the season. But after week 1, we saw a big ritual because that was the season where Tom Brady was suspended for the first 4 games for Deflategate.
Okay.
The Patriots were a 13.5-point underdog at the Cardinals Stadium. Like you hadn't seen the Patriots as a 13.5-point underdog to anyone in the Brady era, but he was out that game and Jimmy Garoppolo was in. Or maybe it might have been 11.5 points, but it was a big spread. Patriots are a big underdog, but Jimmy Garoppolo had this awesome riddle to win. And the numbers in the game had a connection with that year's upcoming Super Bowl. Then the Patriots that year had a big game against the Texans, and the Texans, I'm twisting the Super Bowl locations. I might be twisted because the Patriots are so many. There was a year that Bill Belichick had a big ritual against the Texans where the Texans were hosting. I don't want to confuse seasons, but that's kind of what you gotta look at. It's like, okay, I'm looking at, is it this guy or this guy this year? And then you're like, well, look, this guy just had a huge ritual in the stadium where the Super Bowl is going to be at. So that's probably the better narrative because that's the best clue I've seen so far. And that's why early in that season, I started saying, like, because I really like the Colts in the AFC that year at the start of the year, but I ended up being the Patriots. Okay. And I started to see right away with the rituals they're doing the Patriots. I'm like, if you took my Colts bet, you might want to think about a hedge with the Patriots. And yeah, sure enough, it ended up being the Patriots that year, and they were showing signs. So you got to follow the clues that come in and week out.
Okay. Yeah, I've always wondered because I've played on the website, the calculator. I'm like, bro, I'm just typing in anything. Like I've used some of the headlines, and I'm like, okay, I found my own connections and stuff. But I'm like, bro, Dak has been doing this shit for so fucking long, bro. He's like, you're just on point with it. I don't know. I just want to pick your brain a little bit. And for anybody else calling in, bro, that wants to question if this shit is BS, bro, just sit back, watch, and look at the chat. All you gotta do is just learn, bro. All you have to do is open YouTube and just sit the fuck back and listen. But yeah, that's all I want to say, bro. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome. Good question. Take care. Yeah, again, everything that I've learned has been observation and time and practice. And again, if you have the knowledge and you use it, you'll see how it works. It'll become, it won't be foreign to you anymore. 347. Is this the same troll?
Zach, how's it going?
This is the same troll caller, I hope. All right, what's up, 347?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Zach, how's it going? It's Gabe.
Oh, what's up, Gabe? It's not the same troll. It's Gabe. Okay, good. The other guy was 347, I think, too.
Yeah. This one's out for the idiots, the trolls. I think they're just filled up with like so much shit that they eat, the vaccines that they took.
Yeah, it's like they don't even work. Their mind doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, they don't see the clear rituals that's going on every day. Every time a celebrity is killed off.
They're on the car. They're like the car on the road, just like putting black exhaust everywhere and nasty noises. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with that car? But the problem is that's like what the whole road is today. There's a few of us driving down the road cleanly.
Yeah. I mean, to me, once I found you out and this information, this is like the most important thing that's going on. It's the key to like knowing what's going on and not being a step ahead. Also, with your Patreon, you can make money off of it. So people doubting you and everything is just, I think they're just filled with vaccines. They fire on their like sixth booster shot. They're not clear on what they see.
To be fair, the dummies have been out here even before the latest jab mandates, but at the same time, jabs have gone way up for if you're anywhere near my age. Again, my parents' generation got a few shots. My generation got like 10 shots. The new generation gets like, I don't know, what is it up to, 72 shots? It might be the reason people are getting dumber.
I mean, well, they're still talking about it on the radio. Hey, come get the fucking jab, And, people are still doing it. People here in California still wear the mask. So I wouldn't doubt it that the people that call in talking shit to you wear a mask.
Hey, Gabe, just out of curiosity, if you don't mind sharing, since you learned this knowledge, how much has it helped you financially?
It's helped me with being confident on my underdog picks. I made thousands on just throwing in 200 on, like, say, Spurs money line, which is 1,400, FDU, which is 2,000, plus 2,000. I've been very confident from learning from you and learning from this information, and you telling, hey, a ritual happens for a celebrity death. I've kept my eye on it, and like it happens. Like Trey Turner hitting the home run, his 67th home run, and tying the game to 5-5 when they were down. Tina Turner's last show was on May 5th. All of that, who else? Who else is the guy? James Harden. He brought the kid from MSU.
Oh my God, that 44 ritual. Come on, you guys. We're always talking about shooting in 44, shooting at Michigan State on the 44th day of the year, and then James Harden's got the big 44-point ritual with the supposed survivor in attendance who's from China who doesn't speak a lick of English. You can't see how we're getting played like we're fucking retards. I mean, that's just why I get frustrated that people don't get it.
Clear mockery. So he went 8-3 with the win in Game 4 that time in the playoffs, 83 days from the MSU shooting. It's clear rituals on top of rituals. So much more, when I started this work in 2020, I seen a few numbers. I wasn't really too great at it, but I just learned from time to time, and I made a good profit of money out of it.
Yeah, I just always see people leaving comments in the chat about if this really works, Zach would just be gambling all the time. False. You guys, all these dumb comments are just so dumb. They're just ignorant. You guys, here's my real life story. Had a 6-figure job out of college that I quit to make $10 an hour to work at a group home while I went back to school to learn how to teach, which I knew wasn't going to pay jack shit when I already had a really good job out of college. I've always made sacrifices and felt that life was about more than money. That's why I've continued to teach this awesome knowledge for $5, and a lot of people have changed their life with it, and a lot of people have made good money. When people come and cry about things and say, write me an email at the end of the month that, Zach, I lost this month. Will you send my $5 back? Yeah, here's your $5 back, but my God, man, you didn't learn anything this month. You didn't feel it was worth $5. You didn't see how much work I put in. Some people are just fucking losers. I know that. So here's your $5 and move on with your life. I'm sorry that you don't have a fucking brain or appreciate what I'm doing over here. That's some people. That's life. Losers are crying about what we're doing here and trying to talk shit because they're simply fucking losers. And if you're listening to those people, you might be a fucking loser. What we're teaching is real knowledge that's undeniable, that can help you out a lot financially, and way more than that. It'll help you see how bullshit this fucking world is, which is the real point of my work, to end the fucking tyranny, to stop these rigged bullshit sports games with ritual sacrifice. Now they're tied in with the bullshit politics and the crap news that's just nothing but propaganda and ritual each day. We're proving in spades, day after day, season after season, year after year, the same patterns, the same numbers. Look, we won on it again. Look, I'm teaching you the same shit again. And dumb motherfuckers like the guy who just called in, who might just have been a troll, but people like that, they're the only ones that's not sinking in, and it's not our problem. These people are fucking whatever Gabe just said. You know, they've been ruined. Their minds don't work. It's all polluted with all kinds of shit. Junk food, soda, whatever else, you know, pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know, hey, Zach, so I really had a fucked up time back in New York when all the jab mandates were going on. So I took sports heavy into like Gematria. So, you know, it's going to come around again where we have a cashless society. You know, a lot of people are going to fall into that tyranny and do whatever they want you to do. So, yeah, I never took the fucking jab, and I used this information. I found this information to be the best information out there. So,
Gabe, do you think maybe do you think it is a real problem that a lot of people aren't that smart in our society? Maybe you agree with that, but do you think that's a real problem here, that why a greater percentage of people haven't caught on at this point? Like they just don't have enough IQ points to put it together?
I think that's what it is. You know, whatever background they come from. I have a friend who went to college and he thinks he's such a smart man, and I tell him this information and he just says it's complete bullshit. From time to time, I just say, hey, this team's going to win, that, and it just doesn't get, it's not clear to him.
It messes with his worldview. That's the cognitive dissonance, I think, intelligent people. It's like it goes too much against their worldview. They've always just gone with the flow. Because so many people's mentality is that they know that if you start questioning things and talking anything conspiracy related, you'll be a social outcast, and that's not their thing. They want to be included in society. They want to be part of culture. They're focused on finance, materialism, living the best life, best sex life. So they don't want to do anything that causes any ripples. And sadly, that's the way it is when you start going against the grain. It can cause problems. But at the same time, you can go against the grain and still do well. You can still do well financially. You can still do well and have friends and a partner. But it makes it more challenging, but maybe also more rewarding, because then you're actually with real people rather than all these people that just go with the flow and aren't really themselves. They're just these characters of culture, which is also what a lot of Americans are. That's why they're all wind-up toys, robots that say the same shit to you every day that doesn't make any sense. So,
all right. So, hey, the people that listening in, another coronavirus, 9/11 event's going to happen. Zach's calling it. So, be a step ahead. Don't be a fucking sheep,
Well, the best thing you can do in this world, where you got to be so dependent on an employer and give up your bodily sovereignty to keep your job, to keep a roof over your house. That's why I tell everybody you should be looking more and more to figure out how to support yourself financially and not have another employer, because that could be Maybe the last time your employer didn't make you get the pokey doke, but it might not be that way the next time, because remember, they've been working on that for the next pandemic. They keep talking about the next pandemic. They want to make sure that everyone's getting jabbed real fast to slow down the flow of the next deadly virus. Again, this shit's going on in the world. It's being planned. You know, Bill Gates, we got COVID in Seattle. Next day, Netflix has the new Bill Gates special, the next pandemic, with this snickering face. Again, you guys better wake up to what's going on. That's why they keep you entrenched nonstop in the sports, and just day passes, another day passes, another day passes. Nothing's been done about these tyrant cabal ruling over us like they're a bunch of Romans. But anyway, Gabe, I'm going to let another man get on, the voice from Seattle, and appreciate you, Gabe. Keep up the good work. All right. Later.
How you doing? How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to come on. I didn't want to make it too long. But as far as addressing people that are, how should I say, at different or indifferent from Gematria, look, from my standpoint, right, from what I've seen, you know, since looking at this knowledge and in this understanding, I've come to find out, because like I've always told you before, you know, I'm an Israelite, and I've seen Rosicrucian, Jesuit, Freemasonic, Divine Nine, Boule, inner workings in the community that I'm in, right? And I've always knew that. Yeah, I've known that for over 10 years, but the problem is that, as far as breaking it down from the numerical standpoint, before I've came to Gematria, I've never used that. But now that I've used that and actually put it out there on these particular individuals, a lot of them either steer away from me, or they chalk it up as a witchcraft or sorcery to undermine what their true religion is a part of. And the numbers don't lie. You know, like people always say that numbers don't lie, right? Well, Gematria is nothing but coding numerical value through the alphabet languages of these various different parts of the world and whatnot. And it's something that's very simple. It really should be something that's ABC 1, 2, 3, honestly. And then of course there's different aspects as far as what level of person or what level of understanding you have with Gematria. Of course, Zach is probably the most well-known, knowledgeable of all of them, right? But I'm just saying, like, for anybody trying to undermine or disembowel the knowledge, is kind of simple. You know, no, they're very simple actually, and they don't understand what, like, when you see the same number codes like 38, you know, 82, I mean, or 33 every single time.
Or how about this? I don't know if you saw my video yesterday on GematriaEffectNews, but I did a video in the morning talking about the history of political assassinations in 144 and why we need RFK Jr. to respond in light of both of his relatives being killed in 144 rituals, why he got officially in the presidential race 144 days after the leader of the Jesuits' birthday. So we're doing that stream in the morning. What happens at the end of the day, on the day leaving 144 days left in the year? Oh, we got an assassination in Ecuador of a political candidate.
Right.
And last year, in a big 144 ritual, you had the shooting of Shinzo Abe, the former leader in Japan. The year before that, you had the former president of Haiti killed in a big 144 ritual. So we're talking about this in the morning, only for it to happen again in the evening. And again, I'm laying out the whole picture of how they're projecting what's to come, where all these narratives fit in. And we've done this so many times. We're talking about something in the morning that ends up being the news later that day that perfectly explains exactly what I was talking about. And it's like, where's the guy who just called in with his bullshit call was probably a troll. Like, these morons, like, are they not watching what we're demonstrating every day? Like, how is anyone still trying to debate this? And why aren't more people coming around? Again, this knowledge shows what's going on. 144 is so important to the Jesuits. All these assassinations throughout history connected to that number, when Lincoln himself blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, because like number 144 is the Jesuit order's number, and you see like different whether it be movies or different forms of media, they reference the number 144. And you know, it's just funny when you look at it, it's the Jesuit order, and you know, it's just funny how people just don't catch on to the number patterns, or even like with that rap, that young, I don't know what she is, but that rapper,
girl Lil Tay.
Yeah. Which I think that some of these people are just computer generated, honestly, because I've never heard.
It could be, man, at this day and age. Here, just another point.
Yeah.
Another thing with the assassination. So Ecuador, the country where the assassination was, it was established on the 144th day of the year. You have this assassination on the day leaving 144 days left there. Ecuador was established 46 years after America. We're in the time of number 46. JFK was killed at age 46 and 63. The man who was assassinated yesterday was born in 63 and assassinated 63 days before his birthday. And the thing is, we know what all these numbers mean, too. We know what the Gematria values, that where 46 connects with sacrifice, where 63 connects with the Illuminati, which is founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, how all this shit fits together and how it's used just over and over. The Dead Kennedys drummer last year at age 63. I mean, come on, man. The Dead Kennedys drummer just drops dead at age 63 when JFK was killed in 63.
Yeah,
and people aren't catching on to these games.
Yeah.
And it's more than that. And now I go back and look at it a second time. I see how it's connected to Robert F. Kennedy getting in the race. I'm like, God, this stuff is sick. RFK Jr., a lot of people think he's a good guy. He seems like a good guy compared to the rest of these other people on stage. But, man, go back and look at his ex-wife's death, the supposed hanging. And I was watching the news stories from back then. Everyone said they were shocked. She was like the smiliest, happiest person there ever was. You ever heard of the smiliest, happiest person you ever knew just killing themselves? All these dead Kennedys over the years, a band named Dead Kennedys, they're all dead by the same number code. And we're showing what that number code means. That's what we brought to the table. Why all these 144s? Oh, my God, Jesuit order equals 144. President Biden, Jesuit educate equals 144. The June 12th, 2020, the election simulation, the Transition Integrity Project, 144 days before the 2020 election, that Biden would beat Trump, Trump would refuse to step down, and it would lead to deadly violence in America. That was simulated at Jesuit Georgetown 144 days before the election, and you got two Jesuit-educated guys, Trump and Biden. They're all in the club. They're all playing their part. Biden, yesterday in Twitter, the day leaving 144 days left there, the feds served a warrant to Twitter to get Trump's deleted posts, his hidden posts. Haven't we been talking about Elon Musk buying Twitter on April 14th, 14/4, reinstating Trump 144 days after his birthday and all the other shit that they've done with the same number code all this time, only for yesterday, the latest headline? It's all coming together. You guys have to think how it works, right? The story on January 6th, which was a big Jesuit ritual, is that all these people who distrust government and who think there's some kind of witch hunt to take down their overgrown Oompa Loompa hero, Donald Trump, they think this is a real conspiracy, and that's why they want to take down the government. There's a real conspiracy in the government to stop Trump. The election was stolen from him. Now you got all this 144 shit coming together. By the way, Trump's born in 46, just like Bush and Clinton. But anyway, all this stuff at the same time, and now a story of the government going into big tech. And we know Elon Musk is another Jesuit puppet, all his little Jesuit rituals. But all of this stuff on the same day, and you don't see that what I'm saying is right, that it's all a storyline taking us to a point that repeats history, which goes with the phrase, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. That's why on the anniversary of the assassination of Lincoln, they had the news story about Shinzo Abe's assassin. They had to bring that back on the anniversary when Abe is spelled the same as Abe. All of this shit's a fucking joke every day. It's a joke. Okay, sorry, I'm ranty today, but go ahead.
Oh, no, no, you're saying a lot, and it's just, it's amazing that people don't catch on. Just like, I'm gonna bring out two more things. Well, first and foremost, like as far as like these sports teams as well, as far as people saying it doesn't work, I won $400 using some of the information you have on the Patreon, and I linked it up, and I also linked up some boxing events, certain MMA matches that I linked it up with to get the parlay to win the $400. So this stuff works, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's as far as, which is not even, that's not the main point of this. Main point is exposing the evil that these people do. But
exactly. But you're just saying it's the utility of the knowledge. You can actually use this knowledge. It's not just like some conspiracy theory shit. It leads you somewhere. It's proving a point. Right. It's revealing what's going on. It's helping you make a little extra grocery money. For some people, a lot of extra money. For some people, life-changing money. There's a gentleman, if he wants to call in. Chris, you're texting me nonstop around the clock about how you want to get on. I'm doing a stream right now for hours. You haven't called in. But Chris has been texting me for weeks. He wants to talk about how he won over $30,000 last month. So today'd be a great time to call and tell that story. He's been doing well. But the thing about Chris, who made all that money, he's also living in Las Vegas. Before he's been trying to study how the games are rigged. and it was learning other things before he found me. So, I mean, he's been putting time in to understand the system, and now the fruits are paying. He doesn't have some loser attitude. He sees what's going on, and he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of guys, and I'm gonna say one more thing. I think a lot of guys that are coming on, not only are they connected into this system, and they don't want this fake simulation that we're living in to be, that those doors or that veil to be pulled over, but a lot of them probably are mad because they probably at one point subscribed to you, and for whatever reason they lost money. You know what I'm saying?
They subscribed on the wrong weekend. That happens. There's people who sign up for the first time, and we're having a 5-week great NFL stretch. They signed up, they heard about it, and this 6th week was a bummer, man. We had a bad week this week. That's their first introduction to Gematria. A lot of people, their attitude is, this is bullshit. They didn't even take enough time. 1 week was all they had to say. They lost their $100 this weekend after their friends told them it was good, and now they're done with it. And that's a fool's attitude.
Yeah,
a lot of people have a fool's attitude. So
yeah, you gotta crawl before you walk. And honestly, if you play it right, you could win 20, 30,000. You know what I'm saying? If you know and plus you got to know some of the games, you got to know some of the players. And even I would say I recommend fight some of the fights, because a lot of those fights are rigged, but majority of the top level fights are scripted. Like the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? If you play it right, you can make a lot of money. You just don't bet over more than your means. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You be the tortoise.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take your time with it. Now, there's 2 things I wanted to address. So with that incident that happened on Alabama, from when I looked at it initially, I thought it was legitimate, but when I started to see certain aspects to it, it seemed like this is something that was used to program the masses to, because now kind of similar to how
look at it. Look how sick this is. You didn't see my video I did on this already?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. Half of it.
Again, here's the chain line of events. Donald Trump goes to Montgomery, August 4th. The brawl is the next day, August 5th. That date's written 5/8 in the majority of the world. Remember, Trump won the 58th election, announced from the 58-story Trump Tower. We just passed the 58th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech in Montgomery, the man who gave the I Have a Dream speech, which looks the exact opposite of what we saw in Montgomery. And then who's back in the news? Now we got Henry Ruggs III back in the news for his car crash in Vegas as we're about to start football season. Alabama's in the news. He played at Alabama, played for the Raiders. Again, they got to bring it back right in football. But where's Henry Ruggs from? He's from Montgomery, Alabama. You pay attention. You see how all of this stuff is themed. It's all a theme. It's all perfect. Montgomery was I've been talking about for a long time how they're trying to bring this civil war to America, redivide people along race and everything else. I mean, we could have a civil war over transgenderism at this point, it seems like. But they're trying to divide us. They keep paying tribute to the Civil War. Montgomery goes back to the Civil War. And you know what? I bet if we look deeper, there was probably something in Civil War history, maybe on August 5th. We should go back and look at that. Again, Lincoln blamed the Jesuits for the Civil War. I'm showing you how the Jesuits are playing the game each day by the numbers, with the calendar, the language they gave us. It was all set up in the 16th century. That's why all the history is this way ever since. This country came not long after. And so there's a reason we're getting bombarded with Montgomery right now. It's all divisiveness. And once again, Trump's right at the center of it. And it's factoring with the sports. It's what goes on day after day.
Yeah, it's very obvious. And, the number 58, isn't that Rosicrucian? Or
Freemasonry and Rosicrucian equal 58, like how the real King James, who was a Freemason and Rosicrucian, died at age 58. Secret Society's 58. The word biblical's 58. It's a big number. Calendar's 58. Gregorian's 58. Zodiac's 58. Stars 58. Kobe Bryant and Moses Malone both equal 58 when you run it in reverse instead of 41. And again, who was Moses Malone drafted by? The Utah Stars. Now they're going to put out the Kobe statue on August 8th, when there's 88 constellations. And what just happened this year on 8/8? The rapper named Daystar got sentenced to 10 years in prison. And 3 years ago, when we covered Tory Lanez shooting of Megan Thee Stallion, we pointed out how he was arrested 88 days after his birthday. And Daystar equals 88. And Daystar Peterson equals 88. And the mention of Daystar in the King James Bible is only in one place. In the King James Bible, Daystar is used in the verse 2 Peter's 1:19. Tory Lanez is Daystar Peterson. Again, and then next year on that day, it's going to be the Kobe anniversary. Number 8 on 8/8 in the year 24. The sun does a figure 8 in the sky. Kobe died on a Sunday traveling from Catholic Mass. The word sun equals 54, like Kobe Bean Bryant, who died the Sunday before Super Bowl 54. Now the statue goes up 54 months after his death. I mean, the sun's the nearest star. Jesuit order 54. Anyway, if you think it's all a coincidence, again, my argument is you're a moron, but you're not. What's up, friend? What else is on your mind?
Yeah, no, I mean that it makes sense. I mean, because all of them are nothing but sun worshiping cults to begin with. You know,
we call sports stars stars, right? We call sports stars stars. And here's the connection with stars and human beings: 26,000 rotation for the zodiac. 26,000 years is the rotation for the zodiac. 206 bones in the adult body. 206. Man is made in the 26th verse of the Bible. He's given the name Adam, which has gematria 26. He's made in the reflection of God, which equals 26. The name Bryant equals 26. So does the phrase sun god. The big way, God's 26. The small way, sun god's 26. Kobe, dead on the 26th, the anniversary of Bear Bryant. And you know, it's just crazy. It gets deeper and deeper. Somebody just called in yesterday and pointed out that the year Moses Malone won, the 5 books of Moses, Torah equals 26. The 5 books of Moses. Moses Malone wins the finals for Philly, biblical. The year Kobe turns 5. 5 books of Moses, 5 men on the court. And again, the day that the Philadelphia 76ers won that championship, May 31st, 83, that was the day Jack Dempsey died, who lost his boxing title in Philly in the year 26. See, all this shit keeps going on. Jack Dempsey's a boxing legend. Bear Bryant's a football legend. Moses Malone's right there in the conversation basketball for all-time most dominant players. Kobe, arguably one of the greatest. Bryant equals Jordan equals God, 26. Remember, before Kobe died, if you guys have not read my first book, Letters and Numbers, I wrote that chapter in 2017 about 26 and how it connects man and the stars. And that chapter closes out talking about Bryant and Jordan, only for Kobe to die 3 years later. And then later in the book, I talk about Bryant in 41, only for him to die on the 26th at age 41. And don't forget Patrick Mahomes, the other big star, the next Sunday after Kobe died, it was his 41st pass that won the Super Bowl on the 26th completion to number 26. After Kobe Bryant 41, Bryant 26 died the Sunday earlier. And then last year on Kobe Bryant Day, Len Dawson of the Chiefs dies on Kobe Bryant Day, only for the Super Bowl to be Kobe City, Philly versus the Chiefs. And again, he died 172 days before the Super Bowl, and Kansas City Chiefs 172, and they win it and everything else. But yeah, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. I'm gonna zip my mouth for at least 3 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna make it quick though. But yeah, no, I mean, all those things, man, need to be taken into account. You know, another thing too, as far as that situation with that girl, Little Tay or whatever, come to find out, I was just reading an article today that the police said that there was no recording of her dying.
It might be all just fake stunt.
Yeah.
And again, it's all done in the perfect ritualistic way, as we covered yesterday. And maybe the reason they do a stunt and then even put out in the media that's a stunt is also to show like the storyline of, oh, see, when rappers fake their death, it gets revealed in the media. Maybe that's not really the case, right?
Well,
again, you don't know Tupac, Machiavelli, the alias, the real Machiavelli faked his death. And again, Tupac died on Caesar Borgia's birthday, and Caesar Borgia is where White Jesus comes from. And Machiavelli's The Prince is based on Caesar Borgia. I mean, think about all that with Tupac, and then Tupac on the cross like Jesus.
Yeah, I see, and I think, yeah, and of course they did a lot of false Messiah type rituals with Tupac. And you know, maybe this is like a mockery too, like her faking her death to say, look, you know, we can fake deaths whenever we want, you know, and everybody can buy into it. You know what I'm saying? And it's really crazy. And I was looking into her stuff yesterday. She had 3.3 million followers. She had I saw a picture of her throwing up the devil horn hand sign. It's like everything's all just a big show, at pretty much at the end of the day. So
it is a big.
But yeah, that's pretty. It really is. But yeah, that's all I have for you, Zach, man. Yeah, keep up the good work, and everybody in the chat, salute. With that said, I'm out.
Good to hear from you, man. Thank you. Take care.
Likewise.
Okay. And as he hops off, Niall hops back on and open up. You're up next. What's up, Niall?
All right, so I was listening to the stream, and when you guys were talking about the Montgomery brawl, you were like, somebody should look up the date in history and see if there's anything significant. So I took up your challenge, and I just started decoding. Or I looked up the date, and then I started doing some decoding to go along with it. All right, so August 5th, 1864 was the Battle of Mobile Bay in Mobile Bay, Alabama. So it was a naval battle. So a battle on water.
And they made sure this was the riverfront brawl. So water's there.
So check it. So So it was exactly 159 years prior to the Montgomery
Donald Trump, 159. We talked about plenty of rituals with Donald Trump.
Mobile Bay in reverse English is 159.
So is Scottish Rite.
Yeah. 159th anniversary of this Civil War battle. There's a battle in Montgomery on the water.
Okay, so here, let's just put that together, the 159 and the 58, because again, it makes sense. Okay, you guys in Gematria, Scottish Rite equals 159. Freemasonry equals 58. And Freemasonry also equals 158, just like Alabama does. Again, forwards and backwards. So you have 4 values for words, but you see the overlap. Donald Trump equals 159. We've talked about plenty of rituals over the years with Donald Trump. Scottish Rite equals 159 and 165, and Trump's birthday is the 165th day of the year. But again, Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Trump won the 58th election. He's right in Montgomery the day before the brawl on 5/8, 58 years after MLK's speech. Freemasonry. MLK gave his last speech at the Masonic Temple. The ritual last year with the police killing the man in Memphis, and then his funeral being at that same temple. So Niall's all over here. Niall, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to make sure everyone got that 159-58. You got the floor.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm on my phone, so I had to switch tabs, but so that's why the video is not up. But I'm still here. But so I don't know if you knew. I mean, I'm sure you did know, but the brawl happened on 56 date numerology, Civil War 56, brawl equals 56. And I don't know if you knew this, but Montgomery brawl equals 201 in English gematria.
Oh, that's perfect because the hotel that Trump spoke at, the night before it happened,
right, it was 201. Yeah, so I don't know. Like you said that, and I was like, immediately, I was like, let me get on this because I was like, I know there's gonna be something connected there.
And I mean, you guys, that's the difference. For anybody who listened to me say that, it's like, oh, I bet that's bullshit, and then that was your response. Well, that's where it stayed for you. Niall's like, all right, let me go back and look. And again, now we're talking about numbers that we've been talking about. When the Nationals won the 115th World Series, while Trump was in office, who took office with the 115th Congress, and this year the upcoming election on 11/5, 144 days after his birthday, the big Jesuit day. But that World Series, if you go back and look when the Nationals beat Houston in the World Series, you will see that there were 159 pitches thrown by the Nationals, and it was won 138 days after Trump's birthday. Here, let me show you how Donald Trump is in Gematria. It's 138, 159. Donald Trump, 138, 159.
Yep.
138 days after his birthday, 159 pitches thrown. Nationals win the World Series. Now, that same night, Houston and Washington, D.C. were playing in the NBA, and James Harden in Houston beat Washington with 159 points.
Yeah, it was the overtime
and Mike D'Antoni got the career win number that was the 115th prime.
Yeah.
And again, it looked really bad for us for a while because it looked like both games were going the wrong way, and Houston had a big comeback, but we felt really good about this parlay, putting these two things together that day, and it paid off. And man, did they ever hit the Donald Trump numbers?
Yep.
Go back and look at the box when he doubts it.
Type in Mobile Bay. It's the exact same in reverse as Donald Trump. Type in just Mobile Bay. That's where the battle was.
And look at that. It's 84. That's what day he was there. He was there on 8-4, like Jesuits 84.
Yep.
I mean, it's just.
So there it is. There's the riddle right there. A battle on a naval battle. And then a brawl on the water in the same state, and in a city that's relevant to the history of the state, and obviously the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement, so all those things. Civil War 56 on 56 dating, Jesuit numbers all over it. Montgomery brawl 201. So I was like, damn, this is crazy. But yeah, I just had to call back in and share that because I was like, this is uncanny. But yeah, there you go. So
Well, great
real-time
work,
replay.
Niall. And that's exactly the way you just researched is the same way I researched. That's how I would have went looked at it. Okay, something did happen on August 5th. How many years ago was that? Okay, this fits in with exactly what I was already thinking, that this has to do with the chain of events and Trump. Because you guys, I've been talking about the same thing with the Trump. Before Trump was president, when he was running, I was making the same point. Early in Trump's campaign, there was a day where there was supposedly a large white audience, and one Black Lives Matter protester showed up and he got beat up. And Trump said, Trump was asked how he felt about it, and he said, well, I think the guy deserved it. And then, you know, in the news, that was very divisive, and oh, he's a racist, and oh, he's been carrying around Mein Kampf. They've just been doing all this shit. And the thing is, different people will like read that story and be like, oh, that's bullshit. I like Trump. And that person will read and be like, oh yeah, fuck that white racist Nazi closet guy. Again, there's a reason they do all this shit and put out these stories. This is how they keep us divided.
Yeah,
Go watch my video from the other day, reading from what Lincoln said about the Jesuits. Now they caused the Civil War. He said the American people didn't even see what was going on. All they heard were the noisy distractions, but they didn't see the Jesuits pulling the strings behind the scenes. It's the same shit today.
Yeah. Also, if you look up the date numerology of that battle, August 5th, 1864, 95 date numerology. So Jesuit numbers from top to bottom, all the way back then, and all the way up till.
Well, that makes sense because I mean that's all in the Jesuit time frame, isn't it? They started in 1534.
Yeah, so had to share that, but I'm gonna let somebody else get back on. But yeah, I'm gonna put a post together. I'm gonna post it on the website for people.
All right, guys, and Niall's on Free to Find Truth. Again, totally. Whoops, wrong website. Free to Find Truth, totally free to use. And
yeah, I've been posting a lot lately. So if anybody follows me, definitely keep up with my page. I've been posting like at least once a day for the last like week or so.
He's Niall Overton. Just search in the everything area. You'll find him, Niall Overton. Guy with the nice smile. Go to the see activity after you click the follow, and you'll see his latest posts. And again, Niall's been doing great decodes for a long time now. Time flies. I forget how long you've been around, but I just know ever since you present yourself, it's been all good.
Yes, sir. But yeah, I'm gonna hop out. But see you guys. Stay vigilant.
All right, appreciate it, Niall. Thanks, man. Yep. Take care. Hey, it's Mr. Generosity. What's up? Open up.
Yo, how you been, Zach?
I've been doing all right.
All right. So I just I've been at the gym. I just left the gym, so I just wanted to hop in. I've been listening, and caller earlier mentioned like TikTok and all this type of stuff, and that's a great point since, you know, everyone's always into the short form content. No one has the ability to pay attention to something for more than a minute or a couple minutes. So that's a good thing. I had an idea of, I've already been doing this, but like some of your like shorter videos and your more like people like the ones including celebrities and sports stars, I've been downloading those and putting them on Rumble. You know, I mean, not a lot of people use Rumble, but I just put it there because, you know, it doesn't hurt to spread the information.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I was thinking I could do like record little snippets from your videos that have like good points, and then try to, I've never used TikTok, but I'm thinking about getting it just for this point.
You can do that. I would love that.
Yeah. Just cut out little snippets and things that are like would grab attention and put it on there. But the main thing I wanted to call about was I know you mentioned earlier very briefly about Steph Curry and his 3-point thing. And I think a good point to always mention when you talk about that is the fact that when he finished that game, his total number of threes was equal to the amount of victims on 9/11.
Right. So, per the official story. Yep.
Yeah. So that is a great point to always mention when you bring that up. And then another thing about the James Harden and the MSU shooter, after that game, we got to remember that he gave him the red bloody shoes to the victim after the game. He signed the shoes and gave it to him. So there's a lot of good points that you could put on stories, like even without the numbers, because whenever you include the numbers, you know, the people with low IQ, they start to be like, oh, whatever. But if you give them like basic things that, you know, they don't have to do any thinking about, that kind of gives them like a little more incentive to actually listen and believe things. But the numbers are a great point to tie things together and to show things that are obvious. And when people say like it's conspiracy, I mean, it is conspiracy, but it's not theory. Like this is all facts that we're bringing up. And
like I say, when I started, I had a theory that there was something to this, and I was out to prove it. So I feel like we're 10 years into proving the theory.
Exactly. And then the point is that like when you're 10 years, you've been showing the same thing. This is not coincidence anymore. I mean, if you want to call 10 years a coincidence, the same thing that's been happening day after day, man, there's a problem within yourself. But yeah, that's all I wanted to mention. Keep doing great work, and I'll keep spreading the information.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, open up.
Yeah, take care.
All right. Yeah, you too. All right. Again, one more time, if you guys want to join, the link's there to click on, or you can call the number 509-560-4982. I'm still waiting till the day that somebody calls in and actually like tries to bring a real debate about how this is bullshit. Because I'm always amazed at how many people are writing that. But they're just, I've never seen anybody bring a real argument ever. And I have a lot of opportunities to call in every Wednesday night for 3 hours on TFR, a million other live streams. What's up, Joey?
Following up on the last call, it's 179 days until the anniversary of the Patriots winning Super Bowl 51.
Okay.
179 of
41st prime Super Bowl number, indeed.
And it's 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days, a span, then Super Bowl 51.
That's crazy.
And here we are on the 10th. Dayton equals 10. Dayton also equals 35 on 35 Thursday.
Yeah.
So there's a 666 riddle tonight.
Yeah, we're going to look more into that with Texas, because Texas has that Gematria 66, like number of the beast. Remember a few years ago, they passed 666 new laws, including the 6-week abortion ban. It's like, come on, look at that national headline, 666 new laws led by the 6-week abortion ban. It doesn't seem like something's going on here. It doesn't feel biblical.
Yeah, and Texas is also 15, where Beast is 47, the 15th prime. But I just wanted to add that tops it all off, like the 179 to the anniversary. That just the Patriots, they have a good riddle. So
Appreciate it, man. Thanks. We got Jonathan joining us, and I know Jonathan and I are planning on doing a live stream tomorrow, assuming our internet works, for the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Jonathan, you think we're going to be talking about another death in the world of hip hop between now and tomorrow? Maybe they saved the headline for the weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Not at all.
Well, if I just off the top of your head, the biggest 50 ritual we've seen with a hip hop death to date.
Off the top of my head, I can't think. I got it written all down. I can't think right off the top of my head, though.
He's been writing too much about his book. He's got too many 50 examples now.
Yeah.
Pop Smoke on the 50th day of the year, but like this guy do something to do with 50 Cent, and the next thing you know, 50 Cent's finishing his album for him. It's like, come on, man.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Pop Smoke, yep. That I got some.
Uh-oh, you cut out. He cut out. He'll come back. But yeah, tomorrow, August 11th, it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop as they celebrate it. And,
hold on.
Oh, he's back. Yeah.
So I wanna save the hip hop stuff for tomorrow.
Okay.
I gotta talk about this Montgomery brawl.
Yeah, okay. That's your hometown.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Miami, but I've been living in Montgomery.
It's your new hometown.
My new hometown. Yeah, I've been living there about 7 years. So I own a house on the south side, but I also I had an apartment for almost 2 years, 2 blocks away from where the fight happened. And so check it out, right? So, and I'm glad the last caller, he added to the he just made my point even stronger about the battle on Mobile Bay.
Uh-huh.
All right, so check it out, right? On July 8th, 2023, Montgomery opened up a water park. This was a date with 58 numerology.
Okay.
You can hear me, right? Because I'm reading, but I can't see you.
Water park.
Okay. On 7/8/2023, Montgomery opened up a water park. This was a date with 58 numerology. It's called Montgomery Whitewater. Exactly 4 weeks later, on 8/5, was the Montgomery brawl at the Montgomery riverfront. and I've been to this riverfront several times because I lived like 2 blocks away. The hotel Trump was at was a block away, the 201 hotel. This
He cutting out because he's driving. You know what? Until we get him back, something that stands out about the announcement of the upcoming water park. Look what day they announced it, the 144th day of the year. Old 144. Only for Trump to end up at Hotel 201. And Niall just said Montgomery Brawls 201, like they've been calling it. Oh, man. Same stuff over and over. MLK assassinated. 201 days later, the biggest gun control legislation in the history of the nation. So they start putting numbers on guns.
Can you hear me?
You're back.
All right. So the park opens up on a date with 58 numerology. Exactly 4 weeks later, was the fight on 8/5, a date that could be written 5/8. On the same day, the news broke that Ugly God was accused of killing his best friend's father. His biggest song is called Water.
Yeah.
On 8/5/1864, which I just found that out based off one of the last callers, there was a naval battle in Mobile Bay. In Mobile, Alabama. Notice this battle was on the water. So you see all this water stuff? And so
isn't the Jesuit University in Mobile?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's 27 Jesuit universities in the whole nation. So there's not one in every state, but there's one in Mobile, Alabama. Spring Hill College.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I mean. We got the numbers. We know these people. And now it's like, look how it just all falls into place. Come on. I think Jonathan's having the connection issue.
Oh, shit. Am I back? All right. Yeah, it's just that I'm in a car. I don't got no Wi-Fi.
Okay.
All right. So on 8/4, Trump was in Montgomery at a hotel a block away from where the Montgomery brawl happened. And as you've already said, Freemasonry equals 58, secret society equals 58, along with all the other 58s. There are several Masonic temples in Montgomery, right? 58 years prior to the brawl, MLK had a speech in Montgomery. The famous march from Selma to Montgomery was 58 years ago. According to the media, the white guy who started the fight owns a convenience store in Selma. You can hear me, right?
Yeah. Again, the 54-mile march from Selma to Montgomery, 54 Jesuit order, ended on the 84th day of the year. Jesuit 84, Trump just in Montgomery on 8/4, and now we see that. Yeah. He cut out again. If you guys didn't know that, we're always talking about 54 and the Jesuits. Huge Jesuit number 54. But the Martin Luther King Jr. March in the day from Selma to Montgomery, 54 miles, ended on March 25th, 65. Jonathan, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. But what are the odds that the guy who started the fight owns a convenience store in Selma?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Now we really know they're connecting the history that we already saw.
Yeah, but what are the...
They saved that news. It happened August 5th, supposedly, but it was the big news story on August 7th, and Martin equals 87. Martin also equals 75, like they moved the 75th Emmys to Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And I think Martin Lawrence better watch out, turning 59 next year. But
check it out, Zach. So it's called Bastards Mini Mart.
Bastards?
Right. So, sorry, somebody was calling. So you can hear me, right?
It's called Bastards Mini Mart?
Oh, shit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Damn it, man.
He can't hear me, though. But I can hear him.
Hello?
I can hear you. My sound dropped him. Technology.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Damn it, man. Hold on.
Oh, I see. He's looping out. That's why I kept doing the same thing. It was looping. Let me see if I can just get him on the phone. so he can make his point. See if he picks up. Or he came back in. Hey, I'm trying to call you on the phone to see if that's easier.
All right. It's just I'm in the middle of nowhere. This connection's fucked up.
Try the phone.
You can hear me, right?
Oh, you're on the phone right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I hear you.
All right. So what I was trying to get at is, right. So what are the odds that the guy who starts the fight is from Selma, right? The white guy.
Right.
Now, the name of the mart, the name of the mini mart he owns is called Vassar's Mini Mart. Vassar's Mini Mart equals 65, just like the year MLK had the speech.
And the march, right? From Selma to
and the march.
Yeah.
Right. Vassar's Mini Mart equals 65. Now, on
Here, I gotta add one more thing to that 65 thing. Okay, the black guy who got beat up was dressed in all white and black, right? He had a white T-shirt on. And we also got the news that day of the death of DJ Casper, which is kind of reminds me of the white T-shirt. And then we got the Ghost Gun Band. It was all in the news on the same day. But the word white equals 65. And the name of the hotel equals 313, the 65th prime. And that's the big focus of black and white and racism and history's past and the black guy in the white shirt. But the other thing that equals 65 is Knights Templar. And again, Knights Templar fits in with all this to create a new Masonic lodge. The Templars have to be present. The new modern Templars, which they're supposed to be separate from the Roman Catholic Church. But anyway, the Knights Templar are known for dressing in white as well. So Knights Templar and white have this same 65 gematria. And then now you got the white guy from Selma and MLK with this in 65. It's just, yeah, how can you deny this? Go ahead.
Okay, so... Yes. Okay. Yeah, I was just about to get to the Casper stuff, right? So on 8/7, it was announced that DJ Casper died at 58 years old, along with all those other 58s, right? Trump announced he was running from the Trump Tower that has 58 floors. He won the 58 presidential election. Now, look, Tavares Jackson, a Montgomery native who was a quarterback for Alabama State University, and he had a 10-year career in the NFL, died in a very suspicious single-car accident in Pike Road, which is a small town 10 miles south of Montgomery. So, and
with the whole Civil War thing, remember the day he died?
The day it was 4/12.
The anniversary of the start of the American Civil War.
Yes, exactly. Now, but check this out. Now, this is what I want to get at. I've driven down this road, this Pike Road, so many times. Like I said, I've been living there the last 7 years, on and off. I've been driven down this road so many times. How does he swerve off the road, hit this tree? Nobody, come on. I've driven down this road so many times. There's hardly really not that much traffic on that road either. It's not like a crazy congested road, right? So he just mysteriously hits a tree and dies, right? On 4/12/2020, right? So you can hear me, right?
I can.
All right. So now remember how important the number 3 is to the study. From the day Tavares Jackson, who's a Montgomery native, died on 4/12/2020, the start of the Civil War, until the Montgomery Brawl is exactly 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days later.
Yeah.
You can't make this shit up. Can you believe that?
That's how they do it.
Okay. Check it out. He died on a date with 56 numerology. The fight happened on a date with 56 numerology. Society of Jesus 56. Now, you can tell who has their fingerprints on this. When you type in Montgomery Whitewater, it equals 106. Remember, the day the water park opened up, and then the water park opens up, 4 weeks later, we have the fight, right?
All right, here, John, we got to clarify something about the water park, because I looked up the official news release for when they were going to open it, And it could have been a thing like where it was open to the public on July 8th for the first time. But when they put out the initial ceremony, they said the grand opening will last from July 7th through July 9th. So I'm guessing on the 7th, it probably wasn't the public yet, but maybe just a small group of people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the 7th was kind of like a test run, but on the, they were trying to make sure everything was good. And then on the 8th, they opened it up to the public.
Okay.
So, they were just trying to make sure everything was good on the 7th. But now check this out now. This water park, right, is right next to the Air Force Base. So, military, America's a big military machine. The water park's right next to the Air Force Base. Okay, so what I was going to say is Montgomery Whitewater equals 106. Montgomery Riverfront equals 106. Prophecy equals 106. And guess what else equals 106?
Of course, Black.
Black equals 106. Vassar's Mini Mart equals 106.
How do you spell this Mini Mart?
B like Victor, A like Apple, S like Sam, S like Sam, E like Eric, R like Robert, S like Sam. Vassar's Mini Mart.
I see it. Yeah. 65106. Okay. Yeah.
So you got the 106 connection. Black equals 106. And so I'm looking at this. Okay, now this is how it happened, right? I'm in Richmond, Virginia, right? Speaking of the Civil War. So I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and I get a call from my friend Makalani, which he's in Dallas, and he's calling me and he's telling me to go on Instagram to check out this fight that just happened in Montgomery, which was right down the street from where I used to live, where I had this apartment at that I just ended the lease on the 7th of July. I lived in this apartment for almost 2 years. So this goes to show you that he's in Dallas, Texas, and he knows about it, and he's calling me, telling me about it, and I watch it. Next thing you know, it's all over the internet. The other night, I'm in the room watching the news in Richmond, Virginia, and it's on the news. It's on the local news here. So they wanted everybody to see this. And then next thing you know, my friend in California is in Sacramento, the ones whose apartment you've been to, she's calling me, telling me, yeah, you know my friend. So she's calling me, telling me about what's going on in Alabama. So they wanted everybody to see this, right? So it spread like wildfire. Everybody knows about this fight. And so this is the thing. It's like, okay. And then, so now you look at the comments, right? And people are like, in the comments, they're like, black people, right? They're like, oh, wow, I'm so happy that black people stuck together. And this is amazing to see finally black people stick together. But my thing is, okay, it's just like you said. This is the complete opposite of what MLK was preaching. And what is a fight gonna do to set us free? If we're all in the same boat, like the people who control us, right? They're just sitting back laughing. Like, do you think that? And this is
it's another move on the chessboard. People aren't getting it. It's another move on the chessboard. They keep forecasting the Civil War and racial division. Again, George Floyd killed on Memorial Day, and then all the Confederate statues come down. Again, Memorial Day came out of the Civil War, and then you have January 6th. And again, that date's written 6/1, like the American Civil War began in 1861. And it was exactly 201 days after the only Confederate statue fell in D.C. of Mr. 201 himself, Albert Pike, this huge Jesuit number that was all over George Floyd, all these rituals. And now you got Trump in Montgomery the day before this happens. Again, Trump's president during George Floyd. Trump's before he's president, the Black Lives Matter guy is getting beat up, and he's saying he deserved it. But Trump's got everybody divided in all races. There's black people that love Trump. There's black people that hate Trump. Again, it's more than just race. They just got everybody divided over all this stuff. And Trump's just he's perfect for what they want because he's so polarizing. And, but again, yeah, just Trump, George Floyd, January 6th, the Confederate flag flying. Now this after Trump's in Montgomery, the old Southern Confederate capital. It's just all these 201s. He has to be at Hotel 201 of all the places he could have been in the city. I mean,
exactly. But just back to that 106. That's another 106 to add on top of all the other 106, because the date that they rushed the White House was 10/6. So that's just another 106 to add to all the other 106s, right? But like, I've been living downtown for almost 2 years. There are so many other hotels he could have stayed at. There's an Embassy Suites right across the street. There's about 10 different hotels right there in that downtown area. Nice hotels. So, but he has to stay in the 201 hotel though. You see what I'm saying? So all these hotels are super nice, but he had to stay in that specific hotel. And so this is what I was saying is like, people think that black people, I'm speaking about black people specifically, right? People think that this is going to accomplish. Do you think that a fight, some random fight at a riverfront, is going to set black people free or any of us free? I mean, this is what they want. They want us to see a fight between black people and white people. They want black people to say, oh, wow, we finally stuck together. A fight is going to accomplish shit. What the fuck is this going to... We're still in the same boat.
If people will just circle all the major cities in the time of the Civil War that come up a lot in history books, Charleston's going to be one of them, and they use that city a lot. And remember the whole Charleston thing. That was another big Civil War tribute with Trump in office and the guys with the tiki torches. All of this stuff's part of the same bullshit-ass contrived storyline that they're trying to get more and more Americans emotionally invested in. And again, it's just so obvious where they're taking us. So I wish people would wake up.
Exactly. And then just to add something else. So like I said, Tavares Jackson's from Montgomery. The fight happens exactly 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days later. And now we have, just like you said, we got Henry Ruggs in the news. He's from Montgomery. And they bring him back in the news. The distance between Montgomery and Tuscaloosa is 102 miles.
Okay. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. 102 miles. And what is it about 102?
102, the day the American Civil War started. Remember last year what they did on the 102nd day of the year is they blamed the shooting in New York City on the black man in the underground subway station, like Underground Railroad. So,
yeah. So, I mean, but the point about Tuscaloosa is that that's where the University of Alabama is, and that's where the Crimson Tide play.
Sure.
So they're bringing up Henry Ruggs, the distance between Montgomery and Tuscaloosa, 102 miles. So it's just...
Yeah, you know, the 102 thing, so I have an older post. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. But it was, people made fun of me at the time, but I was saying how they showed how this river in Russia turned crimson, and it was synced up with the football season. I was saying, see, this is a sign for Alabama already coming up this year, because it was in September. It was at the start of the football season. Sure enough, Alabama ended up in the championship that year. But, okay, here's the thing with, like, Russia and Crimson Tide. Russia right now is kind of in a civil war because Ukraine used to be part of the larger Soviet Union that broke apart, and now these nations that broke apart at the beginning of the 90s, now they're warring with each other. And remember, Russia-Ukraine started exactly 102 weeks after COVID, and it started 102 weeks after that Call of Duty video game came out set in the fictional Ukraine. And 102 has to do with Art of War and World War and the Jesuits. And again, the American Civil War blamed on the Jesuits. Again, you guys, in Gematria, Art of War equals 102, like World War. Think about that. But the Jesuits translated Art of War tactic book. And the supposed author, Sun Tzu, there's no proof he ever existed, but the Jesuit logo is the sun. But again, Art of War, Jesuits. Lincoln literally blamed the American Civil War that began on the 102nd day of the year on the Jesuits. I mean, the Civil Wars never made any sense to me because the first story is that the first battle nobody died in. The only casualty was it a horse or a cow? It's one of the two. The first battle of the American Civil War in Charleston, the only casualty is an animal. It's like, what? So
yeah. Yeah.
Has it always been a joke? Has it always been contrived stories to get people to go along with storylines? I mean, I'm just imagining, like, American people, if they knew the battle's going to be over there and they don't want to be in the war, maybe they're as far away as possible, and then all they read about the war is in the paper, and then all that's really happening are laws are changing, and next thing you know, you got a central bank. I mean, there's people that say the Civil War is all bullshit and it never happened. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. People are real passionate about that. They say, my great-great-granddaddy died in that war. The point is, whether the war happened or not, this isn't the thing to argue over. The point is, all of this stuff is being orchestrated by this same cabal that's fucking with us the same way today, re-instigating all the same shit. I mean, January 6th, if you watched the news that day, it was so boring. It was so over-dramatic on TV. But then as months went by, new January 6th footage that looked way more exciting and intense. It's like, fuck, I remember watching the news that day and thinking, like, we knew they were going to do some bullshit on that day. We talked all about it. I was going to pay tribute to the Civil War. I had some successful videos out of that YouTube took down for medical misinformation, even though they were predicting how January 6th is going to be a tribute to the ongoing Civil War bullshit, which I was right about. But, yeah, again, the January 6th story just got more exciting since it happened with all this new, never before seen footage. It's like, did that stuff even happen January 6th? Was that made like at Langley CIA headquarters, just some more propaganda to add fuel to the fire? So, anyway.
Well, just, okay, where this fight happened at, that's where the slaves were housed and sold. Right there where supposedly where the fight happened at. The word 102 equals slavery.
The N-word,
right,
slavery, it gets used a lot.
Right, the N-word equals 102.
Remember the federal government, about this being a federal, the federal government recognized Black History Month, not on the first day of the month, on the 10th day of the second month, 10/2 like 102, in the year 76. Because slave, Negro, blues roster, all 76, like Acts 7:6, about 400 years of slavery. Barack Obama, 76. A Promised Land, 76. A book he released 106 days after his birthday.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so obvious what they do, and nobody could ever catch on. Like, I mean, do you really think that was an organic fight? I mean, and everybody has there's cameras out. They got so many different angles of it. I mean, Montgomery was the biggest slave hub probably in the country.
Yeah, that's very possible.
And so, what all I'm trying to get at, my whole point is that a fight is going to get us nowhere. We need to be fighting the people. We need to be going into these news stations. We need to be going to the White House. We need to, that's the people we should be fighting, not each other.
But that's the whole game. They just keep us fighting over the same old shit while they rule over us from the top. They got you playing the game that's going to lead you nowhere.
So, I mean, it's just kind of sad how people you just fall for it and they're taking. Of course, social media is going to make a huge joke out of it. There's already rap songs about the fight. You got GMAT Cash making a song that's going viral all over the internet about the fight. Everything has to be made a joke, but we're in a really serious situation.
That reminds me, I remember when the Michael Brown thing happened, there were all these rappers on Sirius XM that already had a song about it, like within a day. And I was like, these guys really just write this song today? I'm not sure they wrote this song today. I mean, it's a pretty good job for one day. It just felt like it was all planned and coordinated. And here was their song that supposedly they wrote just ready to go to just talk about Michael Brown all day, which again was another big Jesuit ritual.
Yes, and the day the news broke for Michael Brown was 8/9, right?
Yeah, the day leaving 144 days left in the year.
8/9. Okay, so now we get on 8/9, we get the news of Lil Tay, and I'll save this. I'll save the hip hop stuff for tomorrow. But the day we get the news about Lil Tay this 9-year-old gangster rapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what is August 9th? August 9th is King Von's birthday. King Von is supposedly like the way they brought him out. He's supposedly like the biggest gangster rapper ever, right? Because supposedly he has 7 bodies, right? Supposedly, this is what they tell us. He killed 7 people. So he's supposed to be like the biggest gangster rapper of all time. And then on that same day, 8/9, the day he would have turned 29, we get the story about Lil Tay, this 9-year-old gangster rapper. But when King Von died, he was 26 years old. Just like you've been talking about 26 a lot. So King Von died at 26 years old. And then on his 29th birthday, they bring this story out about Lil Tay, this gangster rapper that supposedly died. Now, the day before, August the 8th, was the day Sean Price died. Now, and here's another 8, right? So on August the 8th, Sean Price died, right? It was 8 years ago he died. He dies on 8/8. And if the H is the 8th letter, right? So 2 H's for hip hop, 88. H for hip hop.
Right.
So there's an 88. I think its program is 88 or programming. I'm going off the top of my head now. But so Sean Price is like probably like the most hip hop rapper you can get, right? So he dies on 8/8. It was 8 years ago. That very next day, it's King Von's 29th birthday. Then you get the story about Lil Tay. And I mean, I'll save the rest for tomorrow, but I just had to talk about this Montgomery brawl because, another thing too is that, okay, right there downtown Montgomery, right? There's a police station, right? There's actually there's a police station, like there's actually 2 police stations, right? So there's a police station about, I want to say about 3 blocks away, right? There's a police station about 3 blocks away. Then there's another little like mini substation, like maybe about 2 blocks away, but like in the other direction.
Okay.
So this fight breaks out. Immediately the police is over there because there's always police downtown because there's a police station right there. So the police is there immediately. Why didn't they try to stop the fight? They're just, if you look at the fight, you can see the police are just like standing there watching them fight. Yeah, they do eventually start putting cuffs on people, but there was a while that they were just letting them fight. And they're actually always right there downtown. There's always 2 or 3 police cars right there, right in front of the riverfront. Like I said, the police station's right up the block. So, and what I'm saying is that there's several Masonic temples in Montgomery that I've driven right by. I've actually been in that 201 hotel. I didn't get a room in there. I just been in the lobby where Trump was at. And I noticed that years ago that it was a 201 address. And because I didn't even know Trump was coming in town because I was already in Richmond. And so my daughter tells me, "Hey, Trump's in town." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." And I was like, she sent me something saying that he was staying at the 201 hotel. I was like, "Wow, that's interesting." Then the very next day we get this fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. People in the chat are pointing out there's another death in the headlines today. It's the King of the Hill voice actor. And he's dead at age 64 on 8/8, like 64 spaces on the chessboard, 8x8. It's math. And then I just looked, he's dead 54 days before his September 21st birthday. Isn't that kind of like how they're putting out the Kobe statue on 8/8, 54 months after his death, when it goes with the sun, and the sun's the nearest star, and there's 88 constellations, and here's another death of a star by another familiar number pattern, and he died the same day they did the thing with Daystar Peterson. It's just... Anyway.
Oh, yeah, Tory Lanez, yeah. Yeah. Tory Lanez.
You see that? You see that guy that was asked to portray Mac Miller? He died 38 days from the death anniversary of Mac Miller. You could even stick that in your book.
Oh, I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, the HBO actor Angus Cloud. You know what was the weirdest thing about yesterday when that little kid rapper supposedly died? I think today it's been rescinded, but Lil Tay. I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but yesterday I got the idea in my head to listen to Mac Miller because I never listened to him, and I just wanted to hear what his song, The Jesuits, actually sounded like. And I never realized that Mac Miller does like a little kid voice for his raps. I was like, is it just for this song? I listened to like 4 more songs. He does the little kid voice in all of them. Did you know that he does a little kid voice?
I didn't know that.
Have you listened to Mac Miller?
Yeah. I've listened to. Like,
at least to me, that's how I would describe it. It reminds me of a little kid, the voice he does.
Kid voice.
It's like a little kid voice. Well, as I was listening to it, I was like, is this supposed to be like some character that he's creating, like a little Eminem, a little wicked Eminem? And I just, when I said that in my head, I was like, oh yeah, Eminem, Mac Miller, MM.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying now. Because he does have like the newer albums are like, yeah, he does. Like when he first came out, he had this kid voice. Yeah, but the newer albums are like a little bit different.
Oh, he's okay. So it's funny. I just like searched popular songs and I listened to all 4 that I listened to. I was like, okay, he does the little kid voice in all of them.
And then on the Donald Trump song too. You ever heard the Donald Trump song by Mac Miller?
I don't think I have. But yeah, anyway, I had that revelation.
He got a song called Donald Trump.
Yeah, it was weird for me because I listened to it for the first time yesterday when I was mowing the lawn early in the morning, and then a little kid rapper's dead like a few hours later. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, what is that? What are the odds of this? Yeah. He I guess as he grew older, his voice changed a little bit. But yeah, because Mac Miller came out when he was young, and that the very first song that I ever heard that blew him up is called Donald Trump.
Well, that sounds from when he's a little kid about the Jesuits. What little kid knows about the Jesuits?
Exactly. Because Mac Miller probably blew up when he was probably like 17. And, then as he got a little older, his voice started, getting a little deeper. But yeah, on that Donald Trump song, he has that little kid's voice. I've actually never heard the Jesuit song, but I'm about to listen to it as soon as I get off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just... And then he died on Eazy-E's birthday.
And the anniversary of Tupac getting shot. And his name is 79, and the date can be written 79, and murder 79, and on and on and on. So, Ryan Gosling's in that Murder by Numbers movie, and now that the Gosling band member of the Kinks dies on the 38th week of Ryan Gosling's age, right after Sandra Bullock loses her partner who's in Murder by Numbers that codes the 38 like murder right on the cover. It's crazy. Wow. It's crazy because those stories are in the news at the same time. Sandra Bullock's lover is dead, and then this guy with the name Gosling, and Gosling, of course, is in the Barbie movie. It's just crazy just watching all this shit unfold as time goes by. And it's like the whole world's still doubting us. I mean, like, literally, what the fuck, man?
Unbelievable. And so just, now... Okay, Lil Yachty's this big rapper, right? And his debut mixtape is, speaking of water, right? His debut mixtape is called Lil Boat.
Okay.
And one of his biggest songs is called Minnesota. Of course, Minnesota equals 38. And we got the whole George Floyd thing coming out of Minnesota. And, he's, well, I'll just talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, let's save it for tomorrow because I got to get off and make dinner anyway. But tomorrow we'll do the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and we'll see what they bring us. Tomorrow's 118. Remember, in Jewish gematria, death's 118. Tupac died on a 118 date numerology. It's a number that comes up a lot in these suspicious deaths. Not as much as 38, but it's not far behind.
And, well, not only that, but the Outlaws equals 118, and most of the members of the Outlaws, which is Tupac's group, died behind the number 118. And, we'll talk about all that tomorrow, though.
Yeah, big LA number. All right, Jonathan. We'll do it tomorrow. Send me a text message or a call and let me know what time you want to do it, but we'll definitely do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm on East Coast time, so it'll be late for me. I'm thinking maybe 9 or 10 p.m. East Coast, a little earlier for you. So I'll let you know.
All right. Have a good one, Jonathan. Later.
All right. Later.
All right. And for everyone who watched the stream from beginning to end, thank you. If you got here late, you might want to watch from the beginning, or at least go back to the beginning and watch some more, because there's a lot of important information in this video. And as far as I'm concerned, some important rants that a lot of people need to hear too. We got to stop being so dumb and gullible and in denial of what's the obvious truth. But we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Thanks to everyone who supports the work. Again, you can get the sports content every day on my website, freetofindtruth.com, or on the Patreon page. Only $5 a month gets you a ton of knowledge. And again, there's a lot of people that do make a substantial amount by using the knowledge throughout the month that you only have to pay $5 for. And it's hours and hours of hard work and 10 years of experience that you get at that amazing value, which it truly is. I mean, again, there's a lot of people in this world who know that what they've learned from this has been more valuable than anything they paid for in school. All right, here, we'll take one more call, and then I got to go make dinner. 470, close us out.
Hey, Zach. Real quick, have you ever tried to tie Kobe Bryant to the Denver Nuggets win?
Okay. Again, Colorado's the 38th state. When Kobe died, it was 38 weeks after his wife's birthday. Of course, he had the affair with the woman in Colorado. Big story. Then he got her the biggest diamond. We know last year had a ton of 38 rituals, especially LeBron breaking the 38 record, scoring 38 points on the 38th day of the year. So yeah, I do think that was all part of the lead up to the 38th state, Colorado, winning the championship. Again, the Broncos do like 38. They won that golden anniversary over the Panthers on the 38th day of the year. And they don't always get the better of that number. It's just like the Seahawks beat the Broncos in the Seahawks 38th season. But yeah, Colorado likes 38. So I think. And
then of course they won the 4-1, right? So Kobe 41. Dead at 41.
And again, going back to, like I said, with the Skull and Bones thing, and the Russell Trust being behind all these leagues, seemingly. Skull and Bones 41. Again, it was George Herbert Walker Bush's birthday that the Nuggets won it 4-1 on. Is Jokic is the 41st pick, and again, they outscored Miami by 41 points. So I think it's all connected.
Yeah, I don't know how many more years they're going to use him, but it seems like he's been tied into every championship.
Well, think about it this way: they're doing Jackie Robinson rituals, many years after the fact. I think it'll probably be going on with like that with the likes of a lot. I mean, we're documenting all the time. They're still doing tributes to these sports stars from decades ago. If you're paying attention years later, so I imagine it'll be the same thing with Kobe, who's a major icon in basketball.
Right. And then the other thing too, I noticed that that DJ Casper his real name is William Perry, like the refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. Also Chicago. Right. William Perry, the fridge.
So I don't know what the tie-in to that is, but I guess we'll see soon. I'm sure they'll bring something else up that'll make it very clear what they were doing with that.
Again, DJ Casper dead in the news the day of the ghost gun ban, and he's from Chicago, the city associated with gun violence. Yeah, good one.
Go. So, but I know you had to make dinner, man. I appreciate all the work. I won't hold you up.
All right. Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Take care. I was supposed to call Chris in Vegas. Hold on. I got to call Chris in Vegas too. I was envisioning he would call in. He's been wanting to call into a show for a while to talk about how great things were going in July. I haven't heard from him in August. We'll see if things are still going well in August. If he can pick up. Hold on. Maybe he's not going to pick up. If not, we'll have to do another stream like this.
I'm sorry. The person you were trying to reach.
He was calling in, but his timing wasn't right. Chris in Vegas. Well, I'll start streaming a lot more with football season underway anyway. People seem to only care about football in the sports gematria world. Hold on. Just in case this is him calling back. Caller?
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Oh, it's not Chris. What's up?
Hey, this is Dan. I have not called in for years, but I got a little message for the trolls out there who think this ain't.
Hold on, I'm gonna let you call back in, but I wanted to hear from Chris from Vegas. He's been wanting to call in for like a month. He's been asking me, but call back after Chris. Chris is gonna go, and then you can call back. All right, what's up, Chris?
Hey, Zach. Thank you so much for taking my call and giving me a call back I was extremely mindful of you doing that. I know you've been streaming a lot today, man. You're feeling good today, man. You did excellent. Fuck, I love your notes today. Excellent call on the Pirates. Fuck, you blew that out of the water. Following you for so long, bro, it's extremely nice to know that someone like yourself has a very high IQ. For all of us, you just heard some of these callers calling in. Nothing against them. But the guy calling in and he doesn't even know what a future bet is and he's not even sure where you're going, the IQ level just goes to show you what you're getting, man.
Exactly. Those are my critics. They're calling in about things they don't even know about. This is like, what are you even calling in for? God.
Bro, what a waste of time, right? I mean, that ain't going to get anybody, that ain't going to get anybody anywhere on bullshit like that. And yeah, for you to even take his call and then to explain yourself, fuck, you have a lot of patience, man. You got to deal with that shit more on a regular basis. It's extremely generous for you to get back on here. I've been waiting to hear from you on your streams, and man, I look forward to it. So when you do take the time and you do it, because I know you got a lot going on, it's extremely beneficial. Someone like myself who follows numbers and patterns, who just strictly, I'm in the Gematria. I've learned so much from you now. Now I can look at decodes and I love to use it. But you're the master, so I can't come close to the Gematria skill level that you've put in the time. I mean, you read books, you know what you're doing, and you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get what you get. So,
well, Chris, what is your response to all the people who are constantly attacking, like they attack us as a community? They say we're a cult and it's all a fraud. What's your response to that?
My response to that is I think the caller that called in earlier that told you a spot was pretty much on point. Unaware, unknown, not open-minded at all, stuck in a system to where they relate to the same people over and over. I just can't believe people that are doing that. I mean, to not be open-minded and see things and then to know how you're calling it. Oh, I mean, you're calling futures, you're calling the shit that you call. And someone who's an odds better, I'm an odds better. I bet the numbers. And the numbers do line up with Gematria. Gematria is another agenda and another tool to sharpen my tool to line my shit up. I like the Pirates today. You like the Pirates today. The shit lined up. It was perfect call. And we're not perfect. A lot of these people expect you to be perfect, Zach. Every fucking day you got to be
Which to me is
perfect.
also a sign of just a person who's not intelligent. If you're not intelligent, you'll have unrealistic expectations about things.
That's exactly right. And you just nailed it on the head right there. Yeah, you got to be a product of your own conclusion, guys. He's going to give you the stuff to learn, but you got to be a product of your own conclusion, fact find, see what's benefit for you. He's got the knowledge. He's got the key. He's got the IQ. He's extremely smart. You're extremely savvy. And people don't like someone better than them. When someone's extremely better than someone and you're doing something better than them and you have a niche, this is your niche, bro. This is your outlook. You've been doing it for a long time. You're a pro, bro. You're not a beginner. People want to fucking take the person who's on top, take them down. And if they can't get on top or no one can listen, they just keep doing what they're doing until they can nudge you. And that's where the trolls come into play. So, and without them, bro, we're going to keep being where we're going to be. So we want them to put that fire under our ass because we love to prove them wrong, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they can keep doing what they're doing. But if we're constantly right, and yeah, we're not flawless, but if we go off of probability and the numbers that we're more right than we're wrong, why wouldn't you want to listen? If I'm telling you, hey guys, this minus 125 hits more, out of 10 games, and I see this minus 125 hit 7 times on 7 different teams in 7 different games, I'm not going to go against that number and bet it again on another team when I just saw it hit 7 times.
Exactly.
I'm going off of probability now. Now I'm just strictly betting the number at minus 125, knowing that shit, man. The last 10 times in a row, it's won 7 times. That's 70%. It's lost 3 times. That's 30%. The best handicapper in the world, guys, don't matter who you are, the best handicapper in the world out there, they're happy when they're losing 48.2% of the time. So you can't expect motherfuckers coming out here saying, I'm going to be 90% every time. I'm never going to lose. There's no such thing as an infinity number where you're never going to lose. So like myself who bets numbers, I still lose. I'm not flawless. I'm not perfect, but I'm extremely consistent because there's zero emotion. I don't have high highs. I don't have low lows. I can't let the game get into my head. Why? Because I'm not emotionally attached. I don't follow players. I don't follow coaches. I don't look at injury reports. I strictly stay true to myself, and I stay humble, and I stay consistent on a regular basis. Why? Because I bet the number. I see the same numbers every day, consistently on different teams, and I know this number's already hit. Why am I going to go against it? So I bet it.
And by the way, about injury reports, what I love is when I'm into a narrative and the numbers are all there, and then an injury report comes out that makes it look worse for the team I like, because I know that's the bait for gamblers all the time. Oh, he's out. They can't win without him. And then what do you know? Next thing you know, the underdog with their best player just beat the team that should never lose to them. Happens all the time in sports.
You called it, bro. Remember when you called it with Isaiah Thomas playing in Cleveland, I believe? I believe LeBron James wasn't even playing. Isaiah Thomas hits the most biggest fucking game in history. There were 23-point underdogs at 16-1, where 100 pays you $1,700. They came back at halftime. I believe it was the game that you decoded. Maybe Isaiah Thomas's mom died or dad or something crazy happened, and LeBron wasn't playing, and that guy had the light of his game. And I couldn't believe when you're constantly calling shit too. You know, peacocks. Fucking the way, I mean, every year, dude, you're giving us the best interest and the best knowledge to put ourselves in a position to win. You're not giving it to us to be like, hey guys, go waste your money. Here it is. You know, we all have hard-earned money. We work hard for it, and you keep it reasonable.
That's why I charge $5 a month. Again, I have stories. I have multiple homeless people who've gotten off the streets from this knowledge. They would have never been able to get it if I didn't put out so much stuff for free and do the Patreon for $5 a month. It's amazing how many homeless people have phones, but.
$5 a month is free, bro. $5 a month is free. For someone like myself that actually uses your shit, to me, I need to give more to you because fucking you're spending the time. You're doing it's real shit. So people take it for granted because they don't know, bro. They're just hoping you're going to give them the answers, bro. You're decoding it. You give it. They want to constantly win. And that's not the name of the game, bro. There is no fucking way you're constantly going to constantly say, I'm going to smash it every day. So you got to take into reality and effect. You're giving us the information, play it off the day. How's it going? And then line it up with the numbers that I'm doing, you know? And I love everything about it, man. And I think that you only make us better. You don't make us weaker.
So, Chris,
you make us stronger as a community, and we all need to come strong. You know, so tonight I'm on the Texans tonight money line. So on my Patreon, I took the Texans tonight money line. I also am on the Vikings tonight money line. Now, I'm not flawless. I'm not telling you guys fucking, hey, this is that. You know, it's going to smash tonight, but these numbers are good numbers. So I strictly just played the numbers today that I consistently play. So today I just got home because I got 4 kids and stuff. So, you know, it's really early. It just started, but you know, that's who we're rolling with today. And then I'm going to give you guys one dog tonight that I do like tonight in baseball. Now, you know, play conservative. Don't go crazy out there. I can afford to lose. I'm not saying this is going to be a winner, but the number is a good number. And it's the same number that you said yesterday with your Oakland A's. You called that shit on the head, brother. Excellent call. They beat them 2-0. And you know what it was? I like the Oakland A's yesterday, -1.5 at +460. It's a high dog number. It's almost 5-1. You know, so you don't want to give too much out there because it is a little bit of a risk, but it's great value. So a little bit of money can make you great value. And then if you're on something with something so high, now you can in-game it and hit them on both sides. Now you can take Texas on the other side at +2.5 because, you know, Oakland's already up -1.5. It's 2-0. Now you're in-gaming it because you know the numbers. You know it's going to be close. You're like, okay, I'm going to take the Rangers tonight. In-game 2.5. You hit both sides. I've sent you a lot of tickets where I'm hitting both sides.
Here, for people who don't understand what he's saying, again, this is called hedging your bets and playing smart, like I said earlier. If you put in a bet before the game for the major underdog Athletics, who had a great narrative to win yesterday, and they did, again, when they were up, because they were up in the game, it created a nice situation where in-game betting, you could bet on the team who was actually the favorite at the beginning, who now has a real good payout because they're down 2-0 late. People have seen it before. They're counting their money. There's no my last ticket's in. My team's up 5 runs, and it's the 8th. And then I've seen it before because I get the text message, Zach, I'm gonna make 30,000 tonight, and then it's all crickets the rest of the night because their team gave up the 5-run lead and they didn't hedge. And
exactly right.
Again, you should have hedged.
Hey, when you're hedging it, just think of it. You can't go broke with a little bit of profit every day.
Exactly. You're winning. You're building your bankroll. That's why I say the name of the game really is to win as many days as possible. It is nice to win a huge sum, but if you're making the smartest moves to put yourself in the winning position day after day, you're going to be the happiest.
The casinos aren't going anywhere. You got to play conservative. You got to play smart. You got to know when to get them. You're not going to beat them if you're betting fucking consistently a lot of teams every day. You take a couple teams, like you say, you clump them up. You hit them hard. You get that last game on a hedge like you talk about all the time. Now you got an end game. You don't do this. We don't do this shit for practice, Zach. Zach doesn't sit around his house with sweet lady fucking making dinner and then coach for practice and give all this shit out after all the hard work and just be like, hey guys, take it what you want. Fuck, this is, this is what it is. This is definitely not for practice. We try to make a living on this. We do care about our followers and our people. We do have pride. Maybe sometimes it's hard for us to sleep at night. Maybe sometimes it's easier to sleep at night. We're all emotional creatures. We all want to be the best at what we want to be. And that's why winners win and losers lose. And to be honest, Zach's a winner. Everybody's got a lot of shit going on in their lives. We might say one thing and do another, but we try to be consistent on what we're going to do when we really do want to say it. And that's one thing about this community. You do have a lot of followers. Mike Henderson, extremely good guy. He's been following you for a long time. He's a great guy. He's took your knowledge. You've made him better. The guy's he's extremely good. Lane Gematria Y. These guys have been following you. You've made him better. So Rod Drake, haven't talked to him in over, 4 or 5 years. But when I did listen to him and you were teaching people, you fucking make these people better. Atachi in your group. He listens. He's making people better. These are people that are consistently good people. Disambiguation or what? If I sabotage your name, I'm sorry about that. The charmed one. The real people in the group that want to make your group better. That people will listen to it and have a great mindset, guys. We want positive vibes for positive results. And at the end of the day, when you go to bed, constantly thinking yourself, he's not doing this for practice. And, Allen Iverson said it to the best. We don't fucking do it for practice. We want to win, man. So you keep your heads together and we smash them on a consistent basis. So you take his Gematria, guys, and I don't want to fucking put in a plug here or anything like this. I've been with Zach for a long time. I do have my own YouTube channel, guys. I'm just starting off.
You can go ahead and plug it. Yeah, plug your channel.
And I'm not trying to scam Zach.
No, go ahead. You can plug your channel.
At that stuff. So I'm just telling you guys he's not a scammer.
Chris, you can plug your channel. What's your channel?
My channel is it's on YouTube and it's Chris from Vegas and it's fairly new. I've only been doing it for about 40 days.
Here, I got it up there. Chris from Vegas.
To say, you know what? I know a little bit of knowledge on my part. I'll start throwing a lot of games out there for free. So I just posted on my YouTube channel 2 days ago. I gave a 4-teamer out, guys. The 4-teamer I gave, everything hit, guys, and they're winners. And if you look at my they're constantly out before the games even start. So I'm giving free games, free stuff, so people can see. I'm not in it for it. There's no advantage if I'm giving you free shit. So there's 4 games there. They all hit. It was way before game time. I took the Yankees plus 1.5 yesterday, or on the 8th. The Dodgers plus 1, or the Dodgers plus 1.5. The Angels plus 2.5, and they came out to plus 266. So when you're taking those are reverse and alternate lines. And when I'm taking lines like that, I'm clumping them up with like a juice of like a 250 or 320 on numbers that consistently is on stop. You're going to pay a little bit money for this stop, but it's constantly going to hit and you're constantly going to make money because it's what happens. So when you consistently play these numbers, that's why I consistently show you numbers that hit all the time, Zach. I constantly send Zach tickets because I look at his notes. I realize, man, the guy's on point every fucking day. He's got excellent notes. I take your notes, bro. I don't take it for granted. You got a high IQ. And if people understand that your IQ is so fucking high, you guys are going to...
Well, let me make a point. What Chris will do, though, is he'll look at my notes, and he might agree with 3 out of the 4 games. He might be like, oh, there's 3 that I really like there, too. But he'll go with his own mind in that 4th game, even though maybe my notes contradict, because he's looking at a pattern of lines each day, and there's lines that he really trusts. And I noticed a lot of times where Chris has a difference in the game, he ends up being right a lot. So again, and it's just about having more knowledge, more sets of
And
eyes.
that doesn't make me better than you. By any means, I'm not better than Zach on some days that I go against him. And by any means, he's not better than me if he's Gematriaing it and it's better than, and you're winning. By any means, I do not have an ego over Zach because I know Zach's true knowledge. I know what Zach means to the team and why he does this. And I know this isn't for practice. So to me, I find passion and I listen, bro. I'm a student. I'm not a teacher yet. I'm still learning. I got 11 years and over 12,000 hours of numbers and patterns recognitions of numbers that consistently hit, and I'm not the best yet. So I have to outwork the people who are better than me. So that's my job. I'm going to outwork everybody. I'm going to hustle, and I'm going to do the right thing. And that's why we will successfully succeed, and that's why I love being a part of your group, because you let someone like myself, who's learned from you, who's also learned my own way, and I do my own thing, and I express it out there. I can't give all the answers. I can't give you guys my motto on how I consistently really do it. You know, it took time. It cost, I have a family. So, I'm not here to make money, and Zach's not here to make money, and that's why it's $5. He's giving you the shit for $5, and to me, that's just... You've been consistent for the last 10 years at the same price, man. You've never raised.
Well, I've only been charging since September 2018. Forever, I just did everything for free. But the last 5 years, and it'll be 5 years in September that I've been charging $5.
To be honest, man, you deserve to raise it even up to maybe $8. I mean, that's all you, bro. I'll pay $8. I know people are like, don't say that, Chris. Fuck, don't say that. But I mean, I have a Patreon, bro. They take taxes out. That $5 is turning in at $2.50. These guys clowning you for money you make. It's not your business on how much money Zach makes. Most of the time, you guys are trolling Zach. You're worried about how much money he's making. You're talking about his monthly expenses on the first. Fuck, good for you, bro. You get to pull $25,000 out. You get to get to $30,000. You know how many times I read that bullshit? Good for him. That's what hard work gets you. When you work hard, you're gonna make fucking money because winners win, bro. But when you give out content, and if you don't want to be a part of the group, then get out. It's not going to hurt anybody's feelings, bro. If you think you're better than most people, go do it yourself. And that's what I tell people when they join my Patreon. People didn't know my Patreon for a while, a long time ago. I got in conflict of interest from my work, man. My Patreon was $200 a month, bro. I had 44 people at $200 a month 18 months ago. I was moving and grooving, bro. It got so big at my work because I'm a bellman that I started getting conflict of interest at work, and I started moving lines, and my work and management got involved, human resources. They cut it off. They told me and said, you can't do it no more. You got to stop. I had to fight it, bro. I just finally won. I had to go through a whole fucking system, and after 18 months, I finally won, and that's why I'm going hard at it now. That's why I changed my name, Chris to Vegas. That's why my shit's at $19. That's why I got a YouTube channel. That's why I'm starting TikTok. So I'm not better than anybody else, and I love you, bro, very much. I strictly respect you and the shit that you do, and I'll always have your back. So we are hungry, and I know you're hungry, bro. You've been doing this a long time today, so I hope you stream again soon, bro.
I'll start streaming a lot now that football season's here. Yeah, I've been working on the books, but I'm gonna start streaming again. Football season's here, so they'll be coming back.
Hey, let's go Seahawks tonight, man.
All right.
Tonight, money line. I'm on the Seahawks, guys, and I'm on the Texans. I don't know what's going to happen. And last but not least, Rockies tonight, guys. Rockies minus 1.5 at plus 460. I'm not saying it's going to win. I'm not saying I'm flawless. I do like that number. Rockies tonight could beat the Dodgers minus 1.5 at plus 460, which is the same number as the Oakland Athletics beat the Rangers yesterday minus 1.5 at plus 460, and they won the game 2-0. So that being said, you do have a little bit of a hedge opportunity here. If you guys jump on the game before 7 o'clock tonight, you could jump on the Rockies tonight minus 1.5 at plus 460. Hope that the Rockies jump on them. There's a lot of scoring in baseball that usually happens in what? The first inning, the fifth inning, and the eighth inning. Because the first inning, you have money that you can bet no runs are scored, which creates a value. Now you have in-game wagering. Remember, you got to have a value. And if you have a score at 0-0 after the first inning, you got no value. You got to give them a reason to bring in some money. So you're going to get scoring usually in the first inning. Now you have a 1-0, 2-0. You might even have a 5-0, right? And then by the end of the game, it's 8-5 and the team only scored 5. Right. So that's what they do. They create money coming in. So, and then in the fifth inning, you have the first 5 innings that you you can bet. They have to do what they're going to do in the 5th inning because now it's a separate game. And then after that, you have the overall game, the 9 innings. So you have 3 games in one game in baseball that you have to make sure you're on the right side or you can get fucked. So that being said, take the Rockies tonight -1.5, plus 460. If you don't like that, they are plus 1.5 at plus 170, where they're giving you dog money, almost 2-1 if you took the Rockies tonight at plus 1.5. Don't go crazy, guys. They have agendas. Everything changes every day, but I do like that. And if the Rockies jump on them in the first inning or two and you see them up 2-0, 3-0, now you're going to jump on the Dodgers. You're going to take the Dodgers, like Zach was saying, in-game hedge, and maybe get the Dodgers at plus 2.5, 3.5. Now you're on both sides. You know, look, you could put $10 on the Rockies at minus 1.5 at 460. It pays you $56. Now, if you get them in-game and you're in the second inning, you might be able to get the Dodgers at plus 2.5 at minus 125. So you're hedging your first bet. You're not hurting yourself, and you got a little risk for high reward. So I'll leave it on that.
Yeah,
man.
That's the thing too. For all the people out there who think gambling is bad, really, gambling is just another thing. And there's different things in this world, and if you get good at them, you can capitalize and you can improve your position. And things are universal too. I mean, if you use your intelligence and your mind to figure out gambling, you can figure out how to become a computer programmer and all sorts of things and have a nutrition diet. It's like so many people just like have all these belief systems. Oh, gambling's bad. And you ask them, it's like, well, is gambling really worse? If it's part of a bad system, what about the corporation you work for? Isn't it part of the bad system?
Right.
Oh, well, it is. Okay, so why are you doing that then and harping on about how this person's gambling? Because you're both part of the bad system.
Manipulation, bro.
So.
Everybody, they're so greedy, Zach. You're definitely. They're the ones that only want to make the money. That's why they don't want you. They don't want us to have a chance. So they're like, gambling's so bad. Yeah, exactly right.
For the person who said, gambling's just a thing, it is just a thing. I realize it can be a very dangerous thing for some people who have addictive personalities and don't know how to win, which is a lot of Americans. But if you're listening to what we're saying, here's what I can say about Chris's call-ins. To me, when Chris calls in with a lot of information, I won't always agree. But what I notice over time is, some days Chris will be off, but I notice more days he's right than wrong. And again, that's because he's using knowledge that he's seen. He's like, okay, it burned me this day, but you know what? It won me the next 2, 3 days, 4 days. Okay, it burned me again, but I'm still staying ahead of the curve. As long as you never bet more than you can afford to lose, and you stay with the knowledge and you learn yourself and you listen to other people's experience, you should get better, improve. And again, just be the tortoise, build your bankroll, learn the same things we're teaching.
Repetition is what makes us better, Zach. The more you replicate, the more you're on it. All those books you're reading, and then after you read it, you're giving us your insight. It's genius, bro. I mean, you're the fucking Bob Proctors, the Jim Rohns. You're the fucking, I see you listening to Jim Rohn here and there, and you post this. That's who I listen to. These guys, Brian Tracy, the people that change your emotion, your attitude, how we're going to get our things, how we're going to manifest. We write it down. We write our goals down, what we want, and we're going to get it and achieve. Winners win, losers lose, be a product of your own conclusion. That's the best thing we can do. And also make sure, guys, a lot of people, we're not the main character in everybody's story. Sometimes we have to sit back and listen and understand that fucking not everybody wants you in their shit. So just sit back and observe and take a true conversation and then have your own outlook and bring some good insight. You bring some good insight, you're going to have a good conversation and have a great call with Zach and not even know the time's been over 20 minutes or whatever and have a good conversation, go back and forth. And we're not even digging a talk and we're giving good knowledge out there. I truly appreciate you, man. Your IQ for someone like myself who wants to get better. I'm neurodivergent myself. I have ADHD, so my brain goes 4 times faster than the average brain. Test on it. I'm 41 years old. I strictly love numbers and patterns. It's what I do. That's all I do. I watch the opening line that comes out, and then when people go to bed, they bet what's called the current line. And when you get the injuries and everything that comes out, that's why the line moves, and that's what's called manipulation. And you're getting steam loose, but that's a whole other subject. And my son's autistic. My son's brain goes 40 times faster than the average brain. I've learned so much from my son, who's 7 years old, with numbers and patterns. It's crazy. But anyways, guys, Zach, I know you're starving, buddy. I could talk to you all night, man. From not talking to you for so long, I truly appreciate you, man. Stay humble, stay strong, and don't let these guys get to you, bro. The people that want to hear from you, bro, they want to hear from you. I truly want to hear from you more. So, and I know it's time consuming, so I'm greedy. I'm greedy, Zach, because I want more of you. So do what you're doing, man, and we're going to give what we get. Have an excellent day, guys. Thank you so much, Zach. Bye, buddy.
All right, later, Chris. Yeah, I got to end the stream, you guys, because I got to get dinner going, and I'm already running late. But yeah, I'll be back. I'm doing more live streams lately. Again, I don't stream that much on Gematria Effect Sports. For all you guys waiting for sports streams on the Patreon, they will come back. I've just been putting out information each day and not doing streams because I feel it's more than enough. But yeah, if you want more streams, of course, subscribe to GematriaEffectNews 25. I stream almost every day on that channel, sometimes multiple times a day. And anyway, hope you enjoyed this stream. If you did, please hit the like and the share. And hey, support the work. You know, if you like what Chris from Vegas was saying, give him a like. You know, Jonathan was on. Support Jonathan's work. He's got a book coming out. You want to support my work? Again, the links are in the description. And again, I got to get support back up. My platforms have been sabotaging me lately, and I know it's them and not the people. So if you guys want to help support the work, we got big plans, and it's way bigger than rig sports and gambling. If you didn't hear that part, clean the wax out of your ears. All right, Truth Seeker. Till next time.